The playoff herd has moved to Texas, where the range is now home to the two-legged Canucks and Stars. In another hockey life, they were the North Stars, conference champions 3 years ago. But no shows and empty seats in Minnesota forced the Stars south. So Bob Gainey headed for Big D in the Lone Star state of Texas. And in season number 1, round 1, they shone brightly, ousting the St. Louis Blues in 4 straight. For Pat Quinn and the Canucks, the past 8 days have been busy ones. Trailing the Flames 3-1, Vancouver were forced to live on the edge and battle back. Overtime was needed to settle the issue in Game 6, setting up a 7th and deciding game in Calgary. In that one, they needed a second overtime period before the Russian rocket exploded, allowing the Canucks and their fans to begin the celebration. Now the second round begins. Which team will emerge as the playoff thoroughbreds? Canucks or Stars? Located in downtown Dallas, the Reunion Arena is the site for round 2 of the playoffs, the Western semifinals. The matchup features the 4th and 7th seeds in the West, the Dallas Stars and the Vancouver Canucks in Game 1 of a best-of-7 series. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Molson Hockey Night in Canada, the Stanley Cup playoffs on CBC. 2 old hockey theories will be put to the test here tonight. The Dallas Stars are coming off a very short and impressive 4-game sweep of the St. Louis Blues. The big question is, after 8 days of rest, is that good or bad? The Vancouver Canucks, on the other hand, were involved in a very grueling series with the Calgary Flames. They had to win 3 straight, all in overtime, just to get this far. Will the momentum help the Vancouver Canucks, or will fatigue be a factor? This we know. The last time these 2 teams met here in Dallas was way back on March the 4th. Vancouver won that game, but since that time, the Dallas Stars have been 7-1-1 on home ice. The Stars are definitely the #1 sports attraction in Dallas right now. The Mavericks of the NBA had a miserable season. The Texas Rangers are average, and the 2-time Super Bowl champion, the Dallas Cowboys, are in the middle of their off-season. So the Stars have garnered a lot of press, good press, for the sport of hockey. And now, with their thoughts on tonight's matchup, let's join Don Whitman and Jim Pawlinski.
Thanks, Steve. Hi, everybody. Jim, let's address the question of fatigue after the emotional 7-game series for the Canucks against the Calgary Flames.
Well, I can remember as a member of the Calgary Flames in 1981, we were playing Philadelphia, went to 7 games, had a huge victory in Philadelphia, got silly on the plane coming back, had 1 bad period against the Minnesota North Stars at that time, and they ended up beating us in 6 games. So you have to keep your momentum. You can't have that letdown, and it's up to particularly the older guys to say to the young guys, follow my example, get the level of your play up there and keep it there.
Well, the 2 stars of their respective teams were stars in the first round of the playoffs, none more so than Pavel Bure with his overtime winner in Game 7. And as you look at these 2 teams and what Bure and Modano contributed, what do you look for from them in this series?
Well, these guys are game breakers. I was very impressed with Bure. Modano saying that they would sweep St. Louis, absolutely unbelievable. And an interesting first-round matchup. St. Louis more offensive than Dallas and Calgary. I think a little bit more offense than Vancouver. So both teams had to play good defense against these teams. And that meant big defensemen for Vancouver were important, as were goaltenders. Same thing could be said of guys like Ludwig and of Wakaluk. Bure and Modano, unbelievable. Brown and Cavallini can get that puck up quick.
Vancouver coach Pat Quinn realizes his team might be somewhat emotionally drained coming to Dallas.
It's an important issue, obviously. We'll have to keep our shifts short. We've talked to our players about it, and hopefully we can ride the emotion and the momentum from our last game and maybe catch a rusty team.
What positives do you take out of the Flames series?
Well, obviously the emotion, the fact that we played well through a 7-game series, and it's a consistency we hadn't shown much through the season, and it appears like maybe we've made a step as a hockey team.
I don't think the rest will really have an effect either way. If there isn't any advantage for us, I think it can be long-term in the fact that we don't have any injuries or any bumps and bruises hanging over from the last series.
What positives do you take out of the 4-game sweep of St. Louis?
Well, our team is playing very well right now. We hope to regain that form quickly in this series with Vancouver. I think not allowing St. Louis to jump back in the series and push us longer than we needed to go was something that we emphasized with our team, and they carried through on.
And you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The first ever playoff meeting between Dallas and the Vancouver Canucks. During the regular season, Dallas won 3 of the 4 games. 2 of them went into overtime. Kirk McLean, who I think might have exercised any ghosts about playoff capabilities with his performance against the Calgary Flames, will be in goal for the Vancouver Canucks. At the other end, Darcy Wakaluk, something of a surprise starter in the series against St. Louis. He has not lost a hockey game since the 13th of March, and coach Bob Gainey has opted to go with Wakaluk in game 1 of this semifinal series against the Canucks. Running will start between Jelena and Momesso, and for the Dallas Stars, it is Mike Modano with McPhee and Churla. Rob Schick is the referee. Gord Brosseker and Brian Murphy, who worked the 7th game of the Vancouver-Calgary series, are the officials tonight here at Reunion Arena in Dallas. Many of the spectators not yet in their seats, but we have been assured that this game, as were the 2 games against St. Louis, is a sellout. From the opening face-off, Hedican flips it down the boards. Momesso directs it into Dallas territory. Grant Ledyard picks it up. Moves it ahead to Modano, over to Churla. Churla looking for McPhee. It was beyond his reach. Modano throws it out front for McPhee, and the net comes off its supports as 2 big players went crashing to the front of the Vancouver goal.
Well, a lot of similarities, Don, in the way Pat Quinn and Bob Gainey will approach this series. Neither coach is that interested in matching lines. They want to get their good players out on the ice and make sure that their defensemen are aware of some guys that might be able to bust loose. Gainey certainly is concerned about Bure. Not unlike the Calgary series, Gainey will look to match potentially with a guy like Cavallini that's very mobile. The one matchup that Gainey would like is big Darian Hatcher on Trevor Linden. Linden was a huge force throughout 7 games against the Flames. Gainey wants to see him nullified to a certain extent.
Matt Tkachuk has his shot blocked in front of the net. Linden tried to move it up to Bure, and there's going to be, well, the icing is waved off as the official's hand initially went up. Matt Tkachuk bumps with Bure. The 2 take a swipe at each other, and the penalty call has been made. Penalty coming up against Dallas. Matt Tkachuk laid the lumber on Bure, and the first penalty of the game has been called against the Dallas Stars.
Tough for a big guy. When you're that much taller than the person you're going to check, you really have to make an effort to keep your stick down. Matt Tkachuk gets his elbow up a little bit, and I'm not sure that you couldn't give both guys penalties for high sticking, but that's not the case. As Schick sends the Dallas Stars defenseman to the box for 2.
Matvechuk spent a good portion of the season with the Dallas farm team at Kalamazoo in the International League. He only played 25 games with the Dallas Stars. From the face-off, shot from the point by Brown. That's kicked out by Wakaluk. Lume pitches in from the other side. Leaves it there for Adams. Adams behind the net for Bure. Bure takes a big hit and is slow in getting up as the puck is flipped down the ice. He was hammered behind the Dallas net. Ludwig stepped into him.
Well, Dallas has played a strong defensive game throughout this entire season. You'll see them taking bodies at every opportunity.
Adams, who forced the overtime with a third period goal, couldn't fish it out. Brown keeps it in, trying to get it to Adams. Adams kicks it free. Bure plays it back to the point to Brown. Brown flips it into the corner for Bure. It bounced away from him. Adams along the boards, feeds the point, and a whistle and another penalty. And this one, an elbowing call with still 1:10 remaining in the penalty to Matvechuk.
Well, Schick watched the 7th game in Calgary, flew from Calgary to Dallas yesterday, and he did mention that there were a couple of calls that he would have added to the penalties in game number 7, particularly discussing high sticking and elbowing, and so it's no coincidence that already there's been 1 high sticking penalty and 1 elbowing call. As Bure jumps up, you leave your feet, you go into the penalty box, and when you get your stick up, that just makes sure that you do.
18:27 remaining in the first period as Pavel Bure joins Matvechuk in the penalty box. Matvechuk initially drew the slashing call for his hit on Bure, and now Bure goes off for elbowing Ludwig. Thank you, Ron, and we say hello to the viewers across the country who've been watching the action between San Jose and Toronto. We've played a minute and a half here at Reunion Arena. Still no score in the hockey game. The two teams playing 4 aside. Bure and Matvechuk in the penalty box. Lume moves it ahead to Courtnall. He frees it for Craven. Craven shoots, he scores! Murray Craven coming down the right side, got into the top of the circle and wristed one past Wakaluk. 1-0 Vancouver leads.
Oh, we mentioned how important it was for the Canucks to get a good start after huge momentum they gained in game 7. Shooting off the offside isn't easy. Craven pulls the puck in and gets good wrist on it. And a quick release. Nice little play by Courtnall right at the top of your screen to hold up the defenseman and allow Craven to jump in.
Scoring for Vancouver, number 32, Murray Craven.
So Murray Craven has staked the Vancouver Canucks to a 1-0 lead, his first goal of the postseason. He was injured during a portion of the Calgary series, and he has an impact in the early stages of game 1 of the semifinal series. Hatcher being pressured back to the net by Jelena. Eklund comes back to help out. They're still playing 4 against 4. 25 seconds remaining in the Matvechuk penalty. Now it's Eklund. Into the slot for Hatcher. His shot up high on McLean, and McLean got it tangled up in his equipment and held on for a faceoff.
Well, we have to remember the new playoff format will make this series a 2-3-2 series. You remember what happened with San Jose and Detroit as San Jose came in and split the first one in Detroit. Another look from the other side of the rink. Beautiful execution by Murray Craven. Not easy to go down the opposite side and shoot in one swift motion like Craven did. You know, he got stronger as the game 7 went on the other night, and he's picked up the tempo right from the second overtime period to the first period of this hockey game.
Face off to the left of goaltender Kirk McLean. Babbage takes it behind the goal. Dana Merzen is not in the lineup of the Vancouver Canucks. He was injured in game 7. Tim Hunter with a long shot kicked out. McIntyre flips it behind the net, and now Matvechuk comes out of the penalty box. The Stars have a power play of 46 seconds. Flack comes down the right side. Hunter trying to ride him out of the play. The puck bounces free in the corner. Klatt fights his way past Babbage. Moves it back to the net. Now Modano has it. Modano in front, a quick shot. And McLean came across to make the save. McIntyre is checked. Klatt bumped in against the boards by Didick. He manages to free himself. Can't move it out front for Modano. Courtnall has it in the corner. Courtnall moving into the slot. He shoots. It's blocked. Loose puck grabbed by McIntyre. McIntyre sprawling, knocks it down the ice, and that should pretty much kill off the penalty to Pavel Bure. 2 seconds remaining. And now Bure comes out of the penalty box as Courtnall comes in the right side. He threw it in front, and it was intercepted, flipped out. Here comes Bure. Bure with Courtnall moving up. Over to Courtnall, and the pass was blocked by Grant Ledger. Excellent play by the veteran Dallas defenseman to prevent the pass from Bure to Courtnall on a... Hatcher goes back to the net, being pressured there by Adams. He manages to move the puck up the left side. Now it's fired rink wide. Centering attempt. Matvechuk moved it in front of the net, but it was deflected away by Vancouver. Matvechuk forced back by Trevor Linden. Broughton comes in across the line. Paul ahead of brother Neil offside.
Well, let's have a look at who's not in the lineup this evening as we get a look at Reunion Arena. Dana Merzen is out with a knee injury, a big loss for the Vancouver Canucks. He has played a very, very strong series. Went back to Vancouver to get looked at yesterday. Carson, Ojic, Slager, Plavsic, Fountain, Charbonneau, and Pekka as well. To replace Merzen is big Brian Glynn, who went to the finals with the Minnesota North Stars a couple of years ago.
Hedeken moves it ahead to Ronning for Jelena. Drop pass for Ronning. He shoots up high on Wakaluk. The puck bounces back to the line. And Monesso went charging towards the net and took it off its supports. And now he and Barr begin doing some pushing and shoving. And Murphy and Brossiker, the two linesmen, stepped between them. The net came flying off its supports behind Darcy Wakaluk. Now with a Stanley Cup playoff update. Here's Steve.
And Don, we're heading east and north to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. It's the Leafs and the Sharks in game 1 of that semifinal. Watch Wendell Clark parked at the crease. Far too much time for Clark. He puts it behind Arthurs Urbe. That goal coming at 2:31 of the first period to give Toronto a 1-0 lead. But Igor Larionov, the ex-Canuck, fires one right there behind Felix Potvin, and it is tied at 1. They are now playing in the second period, the Sharks and Leafs.
Well, some people were predicting that Toronto would have an easy time with San Jose, but they certainly did not have an easy time with the Sharks during the regular season. 2-0-2, the record favoring San Jose.
Well, Monesso driving to the net here. Probably could have stopped, and that's why Dave Barr got upset. Wakaluk gave him a little bit of a cuff on the top of the head, and then Barr came in to straighten things out as well. Monesso and Barr, two former St. Louis Blues, that end up in the penalty box. Monesso gets 2 for interference for running into Wakaluk, and Barr gets a couple for roughing. So it's all even and a little bit more 4-on-4.
Lume and Courtnall drew the assists on the goal by Murray Craven. Second 4-on-4 we've had in the hockey game. That's when Craven scored his goal. Here comes Gagne. Gagne in the slot. Broughton taken in against the end boards by Brown. Gagne comes in to try and help free the puck, but it bounces loose to Courtnall. Courtnall comes away with Hedeken. Centering pass, and the Canucks raise their sticks, but Wakaluk appears to have made the save, and the red light did not come on. The off-ice officials are from St. Louis, and referee Rob Schick was there, and he gave no indication that a goal had been scored.
Well, this is a good example of 4-on-4 play and how you can create an uneven man situation. Dallas a little lax coming back. Vancouver busted out of their end very, very quick. Ended up with a 3-on-1. two Stars get behind the net, and all of a sudden Courtnall, with great wheels, busts up the ice. Hedican drives through to the net, and right in behind is Murray Craven looking for his second. Perfect play. You could take that one and put it on a hockey video, how to orchestrate a 3-on-2 from 4-on-4 play all the way back from one end to the other. Courtnall with his head up, keeps skating to the net. Hedican's the guy that makes the play. Ludwig has to take him down and force Rob Schick to make a call as to whether this puck was in the net or not. See if you can tell. Ludwig stops it. It's right on his right side. Wakaluk gets the pads out and then ends up going into the net as well. Got lots in the net, just not the puck.
I don't think the puck ever got to Wakaluk. It appeared as though it may have been tangled up with the Dallas defenseman as he went crashing with Hedican into Wakaluk.
Well, Ludwig is a guy that's great at blocking shots. We'll see if we can get a picture of his knee pads. He gets in front of everything. He's got huge pads to help him in that cause.
Modano takes it away from Courtnall. Out front, Courtnall scores! Modano tried to go cross ice in his own zone, directly in front of the net. Courtnall picked it off. It's 2-0 Vancouver.
Geez, Don, we talked about Vancouver and whether they could sustain the momentum and not have a letdown after Game 7. Well, it's Dallas that has been with the letdown. Courtnall picks off this pass perfectly from Modano. Modano's not going to get an assist on the play, but he certainly will be looking to get this one back at some time. I'm not sure what he was thinking there, but Vancouver doing a real nice job in dividing the ice in half and taking the middle away from the Stars. All of a sudden, Courtnall gets one gift wrap, and he made no mistake.
Well, we talked before the Calgary series about the need for players like Linden, Courtnall, and Ronning to pick up the level of their game in the postseason. Courtnall and Linden have been the big goal scorers for the Vancouver Canucks, and Courtnall has figured in both goals tonight. That was a huge error by Mike Modano in his own zone to throw it cross ice in front of the net as he just did, and Jeff Courtnall said thank you very much, and it's 2-0 Vancouver.
Well, every once in a while you get a short circuit, and I don't know what it is, but you see a play that isn't there, and it costs you.
Courtnall unassisted. 2-0 Vancouver leading. Now Broughton tips it for Smolik. Smolik back to Broughton. Release, and that's kicked to the corner by McLean. Linden moves it ahead for Bure, just beyond his reach, and Smolik goes back after it. To Broughton. Broughton wheels away from a check. Broughton into the slot, leaves it. The penalized players are back in the ice. The team's now at 5-on-5. Centered for Barr. It bounced away from him. Barr dodges a check, fanned as he tried to let the shot go. Broughton in the corner. Courtnall comes in to try and help out. That's Russ Courtnall, the younger brother of Jeff, who has a goal and an assist tonight. And talking to the two Courtnalls, they said their mother, watching in Victoria, would have mixed emotions about tonight's hockey game.
You know, I don't know about you, but I look for certain qualities in a man. It's nice if he's good looking, but it's essential that he's good natured. Fun to be with, but not flashy. Dependable, but never boring. And of course, strong, but not overbearing. Come to think of it, the Tempo and the Topaz have all the qualities I look for in a man. Well, except for one. They're so cheap. Whew.
CBC Radio works. It works because it's full of thought-provoking shows, great comedy, exciting drama, and wonderful children's specials. Now you can order copies of any of these or highlights from your favorite national radio show to enjoy again and again. For a free catalog, just call CBC Radio Works on our toll-free number, 1-800-363-1530.
The Dallas Stars in the 4 games against St. Louis did not start quickly. As a matter of fact, they failed to score in the first period. And they are off to a slow start again tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. 2-0 the Canucks lead. Craven and Courtnall the goal scorers. Courtnall had his goal gift wrapped by Mike Modano. Shane Churla's shot deflected to the corner. Gagne behind the net trying to center it. Ronning knocks it away from him. Hedican moves it along the boards for Momesso, and he's quite content to chop it down the ice. Back after it goes Ludwig. Ludwig for Ledyard. Ledyard banks it off the boards. It's picked up by Churla. Churla moves it into the center ice area to McPhee. He got turned around, and now Diduck starts back for Vancouver. He fires it to the corner. Picked up there by Ledyard. Diduck is hurt. Diduck took a hit from McPhee, and I think he might have got caught in the open door of the Dallas box. He was hit just as the Dallas Stars were about to make a change, and Diduck appears to be in considerable pain.
I don't know whether you've ever walked into a door at night. Most people have. It's just not everybody will admit it to somebody else. But if you look at a steel door and do the same thing, this is what Diduck has got. The only difference is you're walking slowly in your sleep. Watch Diduck hit. This stops him right now. And he got it on the hip, Don, not on the shoulder. Went down immediately. Well, there's a way that you can really be injured badly. A freak accident. Diduck catches, I think, his right hip on that door. And that is going to be something that will be with him for the rest of this series.
Well, he appears to be in considerable pain as Larry Ashley moves out to take a look.
You know, his teammates were kidding. They said he was the best forechecker in the overtime periods against Calgary in Game 7. Their scoring chances at the start of the first overtime period. Diduck dumped it in, and he was up there to deflect a shot from Babbage as well. He's been absolutely outstanding in these playoffs so far, and this will hurt Vancouver if he's got a bad right leg. Well, Diduck has gone to the dressing room. Right at the top of your waist, your pants can spin around, and when you hit the boards in the fashion that Diduck did, there's a pretty good chance that not only did he hit with great force, but that there wasn't a lot of padding where the boards made contact with his body.
Craven cuts off the pass, takes a shot from a sharp angle. Craven gets it again, but is unable to keep it in. Ryan Glynn is on the ice. This is the first game in the postseason that he is dressed. He's replacing the injured Dana Merzen. And now the Canucks have lost another defenseman with Gerald Diduck heading off to the dressing room. Craven can't handle the pass in center ice. 11:42 remaining in the opening period. 2-0 the Vancouver Canucks lead. Lume goes back after. Boy, did he ever pick up his game after the first 4 of the series against the Calgary Flames. It's centered. Quick shot by Klatt. And pouncing on it is goaltender Kirk McLean. Klatt let the shot go and then drove towards the net.
Well, we've seen the result of one giveaway that generated a scoring chance and scored for Vancouver. Modano up high, something that Vancouver has got to watch with Minnesota. Dallas, I knew I'd say Minnesota. And here's another look at Diduck as he hits the boards. Look at the right side of his body as the door opens up. He goes in sideways, and the pants you can see are turned somewhat. He's on his way down as soon as he makes contact with the boards.
An area where there is not a great deal of protection. And at the speed he was traveling, he really crashed into that corner of the open door at the Dallas bench. From the face-off, shot up high, gloved and knocked down by Kirk McLean. Centered, Modano, who has a quick release, had his shot blocked, and Adams starts back.
Boy, and has Modano ever been shooting the puck in the first 4 games against St. Louis? He had 27 shots, all averaged almost 7 shots per game.
He had 10 shots in game 2. Pavel Bure leaves it there for Linden. Back to Bure. Bure moves in. He shoots up high. Bure gets the rebound and he shoots up high. It's gloved by Wakaluk and he collides with the net and takes it off its supports. Jim, does it seem to you that these nets are coming off very easily here at the Reunion Arena?
Well, we've had a couple get bumped off already, and it hasn't been a real physical game around the net. Mind you, if you hit the nets up top, you don't have to hit them very hard. Momesso, a big guy, that happened when he hit them, and Wakaluk as well, getting up and behind it. As he jumps up, he's on the top of the net, and looks like it is coming off rather easy, Don. The goaltender really can't use the net to give him any support, at least in that case. Wakaluk put his body weight against it, and the net was off his hinges before the puck got to him.
The Reunion Arena is also the home of the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavs could have used nets the size of the goaltending nets here during the course of the NBA season. Courtnall drops it back for Smolik. Back to Courtnall. Courtnall's pass picked off and dumped down the ice by the Canucks. Going back after it is Cavallini. This is icing against Vancouver, and a bit of a collision in front of the net involving Sean Antoski and Eklund. Now with the Stanley Cup update, here's Steve.
Artur Zerbe was outstanding for the Sharks against the Red Wings, but he makes a rookie mistake here. Watch this pass right onto the stick of Osborne. He tucks it in, his first of the playoffs. That coming at 7:15 of the second period to give the Leafs a 2-1 lead on the Sharks.
Didn't Zerbe have a similar gaffe in the series against the Detroit Red Wings, where he mishandled the puck behind the net? Well, right on the stick of a Red Wing.
You can forget about that after you've won the 7th game away. How do you think Osgood feels after throwing one up the boards and having the game-winning goal be a result of a miscue like we just saw?
Neil Broughton frees it for Paul. He tried to center for Gagne. It was checked by Antoski. Goes back of the net again. Neil Broughton couldn't get a shot away. A lot of traffic in front of McLean. This is something Bob Gainey talked about, that the Vancouver defensemen are big and strong, and they don't let you get in front very often. Broughton with a shot off the stick, and it goes up into the crowd.
And depending on the injury to Diddick, guys like Neil Broughton will be a little more likely to jump in front of the net. Broughton has played 13 years with the Minnesota North Stars and then the Dallas Stars. He just passed a couple of old-time stars, one by the name of Freddie Barrett. I don't know how many viewers remember Freddie. He had the dubious distinction of having 12 one-year contracts. He used to show that Lou Nanne signed him every year to another year. And of course, the other gentleman that has played 12 years for the Stars, Kurt Giles, a very, very solid and steady defenseman with the Minnesota organization.
Only Ray Bourque with Boston and Dave Taylor with Los Angeles have been with their teams longer than Neil Broughton has been with the Dallas. Well, some might argue that because most of that was with Minnesota, not Dallas, so they can say he's probably starting a new career. But it's the same organization.
But then there's different owners, and
Jelena flips it to the corner. Matt Tkachuk takes him in against the boards. Hatcher frees it for Matt Tkachuk. Matt Tkachuk flips it up the left side with 9:20 remaining in the opening period. Here's Barr getting set. Barr, backhand pass through the front of the net. Picked up by Ronning as the Vancouver Canucks bring it back and dump it down the ice, and they go to the bench, making a complete change with 9:04 remaining in the opening period. 2-0, Vancouver Canucks leading. Craven steals it from Hatcher. Craven shoots up high on Wakaluk. Might they have a book on Wakaluk, because most of the shots have been up high.
I'll tell you what, Murray Craven has had a heck of a first period. He's let go a couple of blistering shots, and there's a way to change the momentum of a hockey game. Chainsaw Churla. Boy, did he hammer Brett Hennigan.
How did he get the nickname Chainsaw?
Well, he's from Fernie, and there's lots of lumber and bush up there, and we always just called him Chainsaw. What a body check by Churla. You know, this game has kind of been waffling for the first 11 minutes. Take a look at this check. Churla stopped so that it's not charging, and he has got to be right on the edge of boarding. What a huge body check. These guys butted heads when Hennigan was with St. Louis. And Churla, who doesn't score a whole pile of goals, as you can see, 333 penalty minutes this year, 370 when he played in the Western Hockey League to lead it. But because he can skate so well, he's got good pursuit on the puck, as Brett Hennigan just found out if he didn't already know. And not only that, but he's strong and solid. When he takes the body, you feel it.
He's been a regular visitor to the penalty box during his NHL career. 5 consecutive seasons with better than 200 penalty minutes. This year, 333. In front for Broughton, he scores! Mishandled initially, but and given a second chance, he was able to slip it past Kirk McLean.
Well, the Stars have been very sloppy for the first 11 minutes of this hockey game. Vancouver was solid for the first 10 or so, but they've fallen into a little bit of that sloppiness that Dallas rather has had. Babbage misses Broughton in front of the net. Broughton has time to re-cue it and get a shot right on top of McLean. A good job by Broughton to keep his composure in front, find the puck, and still get a shot as he was right on the doorstep of the Vancouver goalie McLean.
Paul Broughton obtained on waivers from the New York Rangers on October the 4th, and he has scored the first period goal of this year's playoffs for Bob Gainey's Dallas Stars.
Well, and that has everybody in the building standing. They've been looking for something to get excited about. We'll see if Dallas can take this momentum now, and whether Vancouver can put a little bit of water on the fire that just might get started here.
Babbage in his own zone. Pushed ahead for McIntyre. McIntyre goes to the corner, and a big collision in the corner as Antoski tried to throw his weight around. Courtnall comes back. Courtnall is checked as he gets to the line. Broughton from Gagne and Neil Broughton. The scoring play for the Dallas Stars is an incident develops just inside the Vancouver line, but nothing serious is going to happen there with 7:55 remaining in this opening period here at Reunion Arena. The Vancouver Canucks leading by a goal.
For the first time, there's a saw that combines dust collection, an auto brake, and a powerful 3-year warranty. So there's no limit to what you can build. Introducing the Quantum Circular Saw, new from Black & Decker.
My company needs the best 800 service in the business.
Why can't we have just one 800 number for Canada and the U.S.?
If it's not prime time, I figure we deserve a discount.
Introducing Advantage 800 service. Give your bottom line the advantage. BC Tel Advantage.
Introducing the Quantum Random Orbit Sander. It's tough enough to tackle any project from start to finish. Plus, it's backed by a 3-year warranty. The new Quantum line, only from Black & Decker.
Well, some might call Cavallini here for elbowing. I call him for self-preservation. If he doesn't get the elbow up on Antoski, he's going to be part of one of the advertisements on the boards. Antoski had a good beat on him, wanted to finish the check. Cavallini got the elbow up on him hard. Antoski a little upset after that and earned a roughing penalty for his efforts. This guy has got great speed, Don, not unlike Shane Churla. Doesn't turn quite as well, but as he starts to understand this game better and he realizes just how fast and how quick he is, he could be a real force in changing the momentum of a hockey game. When you're big and strong, and you combine that with speed and quickness, it's amazing what you can do.
Power play against the Vancouver Canucks did not have any success this year. Ledyard is back on the point. So is Cavallini. Cavallini fakes the shot for Courtnall. Back to Ledyard at the point. His shot is wide of the net. Brown flex it to the corner. He and Courtnall go in there. Platt is there as well. Modano positioned back of the net. And now the puck is stolen by Courtnall. He can't skate it out, but he gets some help, and it's knocked out in the center ice. Brought back in by Platt for Modano. Modano looking. Cavallini goes for the net. The puck doesn't get to him as it's flipped down the ice.
But Dallas has had a very successful power play against St. Louis. They were almost 27%. Whenever they needed a goal, their power play seemed to provide one. Now, if we run through the last series, Calgary, and that's not a tough one to remember, losing to Vancouver 4-3 after being ahead 3-1, double overtime in Game 7. Not much of a difference in goals for and against. But Dallas, 4 games in a row, 16-10, they outscored the Blues. I thought it was neat that Modano said after Game 2 we're going to sweep these guys. The organization here was a little bit upset with his cockiness, but when a guy comes to play and he scores 8 points, including 5 goals, you don't worry about him saying those sorts of things when he does what he says.
Matvechuk with Gagne. Gagne and Gilchrist go to the corner. Lume gets the puck loose, moves it along the boards, and Tim Hunter is able to flip it down the ice. Wakaluk being watched by McIntyre. Now Hunter comes in, but Wakaluk wisely leaves it there for Matvechuk. 36 seconds remaining in the Antoski penalty. Churla couldn't handle the puck at the blue line. And now Hunter gains control, and he will clear with 25 seconds remaining in the Antoski penalty. 6:18 the time left in the first period. 2-1 the Vancouver Canucks lead the Dallas Stars in this opening game of the semifinal series in the Western Conference. Now it's Gagne. Gagne moving in. Drop pass intended for Gilchrist, and Jeff Courtnall read that one perfectly. Now Linden jumps up in the play. The pass to Linden. Linden moves in, and as he made the move on Wakaluk and tried to go to his backhand, he lost control.
Boy, Hatcher either very tired or a little bit lazy. Linden doing a great job coming from his blue line. Continued to chug up and beat Hatcher to the net for that scoring opportunity. A perfect pass from Courtnall.
Hedican leaves it in the corner. Canucks back at full strength. Brown has it now. Flipped down the ice, and back after it goes Ledyard. Barr tried to shoot it in. Blocked and dumped to the line and out by Brown. 5:16 remaining in the opening period. 2-1 the Vancouver Canucks lead, and shorthanded Captain Trevor Linden almost made it a 3-1 hockey game, and a penalty call has been made by referee Rob Schick, and again Pavel Bure was involved. Bure, you may recall, in the opening games against Calgary was a frequent visitor to the penalty box, but he wasn't there in overtime in Game 7.
Pepsi Max.
It's new. All the taste of regular cola and a third the calories.
Yeah, sure.
Tastes good, that's all I know.
Gull la beau.
Can't you just enjoy it without the analysis, Sigmund?
What do you think stops some crazy bigwig at Pepsi from just printing up a bunch of false labels?
Jail.
Oh, brother, you are so naive.
New Pepsi Max.
Could you get him a fork?
All the taste, 1/3 the calories.
I needed a truck that was a dual-purpose vehicle, the Ford F-150 Super Cab.
The main thing I use the truck for is for the family. You know, I have the driver's side airbag and the rear anti-lock brakes.
5.8-liter V8.
I feel really secure in it.
Well, the seats are comfortable.
Comfortable for the kids, comfortable for me.
I've got a landscaping business. You can't show up there and work on your truck. You have to show up there and work on the job.
The console seat is a great idea. This way I can pop both the kids in the front if I have to watch them. We use the truck a lot for camping.
Cooped up in the rain inside the trailer.
I sing.
Well, Bury's had his stick up a couple of times tonight. This is the second time he's been caught. He's got 23 minutes now in penalties in the playoffs. What a perfect pass by Courtnall. And Linden, although you don't get a sense of how far he came, was way back at his blue line, went by 2 or 3 stars to be in the open. Courtnall with a perfect pass to the area, and then just had the puck roll off his stick. A great effort by Trevor Linden to give his team a 2-goal lead.
Russ Courtnall shot it in, and Lume put it over the glass and out of play in attempting to clear. In Calgary, as I said, Bure in the early stages of the series took some penalties, but the Russian Rocket was firing on all cylinders in overtime, much to the dismay of the Flames in Game 7 with his overtime winner. Well, but you don't see him in the penalty box as much as he has been in the playoffs, and that's probably due to some of the extra attention he is receiving. Cavallini's shot right on the rebound, and that's just clipped wide. Modano has it. Modano with a quick shot, and that deflected high. Referee Schick obviously thought that McLean was going to glove it, but he didn't really have control, but then he did pounce on the loose puck. With the Stanley Cup update, here's Steve.
Thank you, Don. We head east and north again to Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens, and the Sharks attempting to overcome a 1-goal deficit. Watch Mironov try to play Falloon. Falloon gets the pass back, puts a backhander between the pads of Felix Potvin, and that one is tied. That goal coming at 15:38 of the second period.
Still 1:32 remaining in the penalty to Pavel Bure. Hedeken skates it to safety, back of his own goal. He can motor, and he comes into the center ice area now with Courtnall. A long shot. That's again up high on Wakaluk. Back comes Modano. Russ Courtnall jumps up into the play, takes the pass to the line, looks for someone to give it to. Courtnall still controlling, back to Cavallini. A shot through traffic, sails wide. Ledyard to Courtnall. Courtnall tried to get it back to Cavallini, and Cavallini brought it in offside.
Well, Dallas can thank some sort of stars this evening. Vancouver could easily be leading this game by a few goals. They've outworked the Stars so far, and they've done a great job in jumping into the play. They're just on a penalty killing situation, and they're still leading the attack. A lot of Dallas players letting Canucks skate by them, and if you do that regularly, before you know it, you're going to be down by more than 1 or 2, and you'll be trying to get past a hot goalie in the third period to get yourselves back in the hockey game.
McIntyre wins the draw. He gets it back to Lume. Lume will take his time and then bank it off the boards with 55 seconds remaining in the penalty to Bure.
Vancouver's penalty killing almost 90% so far in the playoffs. They really dominated the Flames power play, and that's a big reason why they won in 7.
Gagne attempted to center. Bounce to Churla. Churla let a shot go that was steered to the corner by McLean. He had been knocked down. McIntyre, who had lost his glove, was able to flip the puck out with his hand. Hatcher goes in deep. Hatcher centered. Gets the puck again at the side of the net. Gagne is checked. It comes around the boards to the point. Matvechuk manages to keep it in. Lume leaves it in the corner for Glynn, and this time Glynn is able to clear. 4 seconds remaining in the Bure penalty. He's standing up, ready to jump on the ice as Matvechuk gets to the line. His long shot goes high off the glass. Puck is centered, but it deflects back out to center ice. Matvechuk frees it there for Broughton. Broughton has scored the lone goal for Dallas. His shot, a high one, is knocked down by McLean, and Glynn takes it to the corner. Glynn is checked in the corner. Now the puck moved ahead to the line. Hunter couldn't go anywhere with it. Paul Broughton tried to field Neal. It was knocked away from him. It goes to the other corner with 2:30 remaining in the opening period. 2-1. Vancouver Canucks lead. And now Linden, who has lost his stick, gloves the puck out to center ice. Brought back in by Ledyard. Ledyard getting set. His shot knocked down in front by Glynn. Glynn had it in his equipment, wasn't aware of it. Broughton picks it up, works to the corner, tried to move out front, and the puck is cleared by Vancouver, fired right back in by the Stars. And the Stars now make a change as Ronning takes the lead pass into the center ice area. Long shot. Wakaluk leaves it at the side of the net, then decides to play it. Barr starts back. Barr is checked. Ronning knocked it away from him. Now Cavallini gains the line. Cavallini tried to center for Barr, knocked away, and Hedeken has control. Memesso comes in with Jelena. Jelena with the shot. Jelena tried to get it back to Memesso. He was checked. Eklund has it for Barr. 1:30 remaining in the opening period as Brown goes back into his own zone. He missed Jelena with the pass, and now Jelena goes off the ice as the Canucks make a change. Barr trying to work to the corner. Hedeken attempting to tie it up as he's knocked down. Eklund is in there as well. He frees it. Eklund out front. And McLean dives on the puck as Barr was trying to free himself from Lafayette and go towards the net.
Don't play around with high prices. Come to Canadian Tire, your summer sports headquarters, and save on a huge selection of top-name sports equipment.
Well, Don, let's take a look through, and without going to your old newspapers, folks, see if you can remember what half of the series needed to go to 7 games. We saw a great one here. There were 2 4-game sweeps. Dallas involved in one of those. 3 of 4 division leaders were upset, and that sounds like a familiar story from years gone by. And shutouts, goaltenders absolutely unbelievable. No doubt that we'll pass the record set in 1992 for 12. And that follows on the heels of a tremendous regular season. 25 goaltenders who played 25 games or more had goals against average under 3.
Russ Courtnall let a quick shot go from just inside the blue line, and he gets it again. Courtnall was checked by Babbage. Babbage knocked it ahead to Jeff Courtnall. He's coming in against Hatcher. Drop pass, and as Lafayette attempted to go for the net, the puck was hooked away from him. Russ Courtnall at center ice, takes the pass, looking in front for Modano. Modano takes the shot, and McLean had to stand his ground. Jeff Courtnall has it now. He lets a shot go from a sharp angle. Brown had been driving for the net, couldn't get a stick in the rebound. Russ Courtnall comes back. Cross ice pass for Hatcher. Hatcher's weak shot knocked down in front of the net. Linden had a little trouble picking up the loose puck and wasn't sure if there was pressure or not behind him, so he fired it out of the zone. 8 seconds remaining in the opening period. After starting slowly, the Dallas Stars seem to have some life in the latter half of this opening period. They've outshot the Vancouver Canucks 15-11, but the Vancouver Canucks lead the hockey game by a 2-1 margin.
Well, Vancouver very solid the first half of the opening period. Dallas, reminiscent of pond hockey that I love to play. Scrambly, undisciplined are a couple of different words that I would use to describe the Stars play. And Vancouver fell into the same trap in the latter half of the period, and we're fortunate that the score did not change and the margin did not shrink. They leave the first with a 2-1 lead, and if they can find a way to get back that disciplined style that they had at the start of this hockey game, and Dallas continues to play the same way, they can steal the first game in here and go back for game 2 with an opportunity and more confidence.
Well, one of the big fans of the Vancouver Canucks during the season is professional golfer Dave Barr, who cashed a pretty good paycheck with a 10th place finish yesterday in Houston, and he made the trip to Dallas to take in tonight's game, and he'll be joining Steve Armitage during our intermission. But before Dave sits down with Steve, Russ Courtnall will be joining Steve in our intermission studio to, I'm sure, talk about the family relationship and this battle between he and brother Jeff.
Yes, you're right. A thought or two on that opening period of game number 1.
Well, they came out and played the way they played in Calgary, and we played like a team that has been off for 8 days, and we're a little rusty right now, and we're going to have to pick it up in the second to beat them.
How did you feel the rust?
Well, we had 8 days, and you know, without the game situations, it's a little tougher. We're used to playing 3 days a week in the season and every second day in the playoffs, and I think we felt it a bit. Our passing was off. I had a couple great chances, and I missed them, and I should have scored.
I know that during the regular season, you do talk a lot to your brother Jeff, but this is the playoffs, and this is the first time that you've faced each other in the NHL playoffs. Are you still talking?
Yeah, we still talk. He asked if he could speak to me after practice this morning, and he said, listen, it's playoffs, and I'm going to be running around, and guys are going to be mad at me, and they're going to be mad at you on my team. So he said, don't let it bother you, and he goes, we both can take care of ourselves. Just let's go play hard, and you try and win, and I'll try and win, and that's what we're trying to do, and he's doing a better job of it right now.
So there's still some brotherly love left between you two. Now, what about your mother? She's sitting watching this one in Victoria tonight. Who does she root for? The Stars or the Canucks? Jeff or Russ?
Well, I think she's rooting for both of us. You know, she's probably a little more of a Canuck fan, being out on the BC on the coast. But she wins and one of us loses because she gets to cheer for one of us in the next round. So I think she's got the biggest smile of all. Hi, Mom.
Okay, from Russ Courtnall to Mother in Victoria. Coming up next, we'll talk to Dave Barr, the PGA professional. We have a Dave Barr on the ice tonight for the Stars, but this one is the golfer. After one period of play, it's the Vancouver.
One of those things, hockey in the wintertime and golf in the summertime, and golf seemed to be the #1 priority.
Next stop on the PGA Tour for you is Atlanta, a tournament you won one year with an amazing -23 total. How do you like your chances this time around? You're playing well this year.
Yeah, I've had a very good start. I'm looking forward to going there. I've always played good there in the past, even when I hadn't won, but 23 under still is a mind-boggling score for there. And I've had some good results since '87 at that golf course, and the last 3 weeks I've been out, I've had some good checks, 15,000, 13,000, and 32,000. So I'm on a little bit of a roll, so hopefully going in there with a positive attitude, knowing that I've won there in the past and had good results, you just never know what might happen over 4 days. Hopefully I can put all 4 together.
Good luck in Atlanta, Dave.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Dave Barr has been my guest. In Toronto, where the Leafs are playing the Sharks, they are in the second intermission there. It is tied at 2. Larionov and Falloon have scored for the Sharks. Clark and Osborne for the Leafs. That is the opening game in the other half of the Western semifinal. And here in Dallas, we have completed one period of play, and the Stars are trailing the Vancouver Canucks 2-1. Are leading Dallas 2-1 after 1. Playoff action on CBC continues tomorrow from New York. Game 2 in the Eastern semifinal between the Rangers and Washington. That one's a 4:30 start Pacific time. Game 2 in the Dallas-Vancouver series is set for Wednesday night, and that one is a 5:30 start Pacific time. Second period's about to get underway here at the Reunion Arena between the Canucks and the Stars. Now let's join Don Whitman and Jim Poplinski. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Steve. The first ever Hockey Night in Canada telecast from Dallas. And here it was Gerald Diddick taken in against the open door of the Dallas bench by McPhee. And Diddick was taken off to the dressing room, but he is going to return and try and play in the second period, which has to be good news for the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, lots of times you try to play after an injury like that, you can walk around and it's sore, but it doesn't feel too bad. But when you get on the ice and you have to make a quick move, it almost blows the top of your head off. We'll see if Diddick can put up with what I think would be pretty substantial pain.
Adams at the side of the net, taken in against the end boards by Ludwig. Modano checks Bure, and Ledyard starts away. He moves it ahead to Modano. Modano, drop pass for McPhee. His shot is blocked before it gets to the net. Bure leaves it there for Linden. Back to Bure. Bure for Adams. Adams drops it for Brown, and he fires it wide. Ledyard looking for Modano. Modano, the third 50-goal scorer in franchise history. A 60-goal scorer. Pavel Bure hit the side of the net as he breaks in. Racing after the puck at center ice is the speedy Gagne. Gagne winds up and tried to slap it, but it went off a stick to the corner. Paul Broughton has it back of the net. Brown bumps him in against the boards. Babbage comes back to help out, moves it ahead for Momesso to Linden. Linden comes in with Bure. Linden drops it off for Bure. Bure fakes, moves in. Bure still has it. He scores! Bure with a beautiful move as he took the drop pass from Linden. He faked, moved in, faked again, and then went up top once again on Darcy Wakaluk.
Well, the guy that makes this play is Momesso. Watch as he busts down the right side. He's coming on the right side of your picture now, and because Wakaluk has got to watch him a bit, he hesitates before he starts to go out, and by the time he goes out, it's too late. A nice fake shot that freezes him, and then Bure with the old flea flicker, not a real hard shot, but a perfectly placed one. And Bure, who hadn't scored a lot in Calgary, and all of a sudden now has got 4 goals, gets a big one to keep that momentum going that we talked about after the first period.
Linden and Momesso draw the assists on Bure's 4th goal of the playoffs at 1:23, and the Vancouver Canucks have a 3-1 lead. Now it's Gerald Diddick. Back back on the ice after crashing into the open gates at the Dallas bench. This would certainly be a boost to the defensive core of the Canucks if he is able to continue. They have already lost Dana Merzen. Ronning was tied up at the line, could only flip the puck towards the net, knocked down by Wakaluk. Modano starts back. Modano takes a return pass. Modano tried to get a shot away. Courtnall following up. His shot is blocked by Didick as Babic had taken Modano out of the play. Back comes Jelena. He has Mamesso with him. Jelena knocked off the puck by Smolik. Mamesso trying to move out front. Running, couldn't get a shot away. Now Mamesso has it. He steers it towards the net, and Wakaluk moves it to the corner. 17:44 remaining in the second period. 3-1, Vancouver leads. Smolik weaves his way through center ice, dumps it to the corner, and then he goes off the ice as the Dallas Stars make a change. Lume sends Jeff Courtnall on his way. He got to the line, flipped it back to the net. It's left there for Hatcher. Hatcher trying to clear, and he succeeds. Murray Craven led all shooters in the opening period with 4 shots and a goal, his first of the playoffs. Jeff Courtnall couldn't control the pass at center ice. 17:10 remaining in the second. 3-1 Vancouver leads. Here comes Matvechuk. He tried to center. It was broken up, and Jeff Courtnall starts back. Craven is moving up ice with him. So is Lafayette. Lafayette goes for the net, and he was tied up by Gilchrist as he tried to steer it. Hedican is checked along the boards. Hedican gets it again and takes a hit. The puck comes free for Gilchrist. Craven is after him. Gilchrist puts it into the slot, and the shot goes over top and up against the glass. Centered again for Matvechuk. Matvechuk took a shot, a weak one that rolled to the net. Now the puck is freed for Courtnall. Courtnall coming in against Matvechuk with Craven. Courtnall over on the wing. Here's a shot by McIntyre. The rebound, and he hit the side of the net. Now it's McPhee working against Hedican. McPhee out front, and the shot by Evison, and McLean moved across with him to steer that into the corner. And Toski is knocked down by Ludwig. McPhee being watched by Hunter. The 2 bump. Puck comes free for Evison over to Ledger. Ledger dumps it to the corner. Churla races after it. McLean is out of the net to play it, and he plays it around the boards for Tim Hunter. Hunter couldn't control it. It's kept in, or was it kept in? Obviously, the linesman felt that it had come across the line offside. 3-1, Vancouver leads.
It's time for tonight's dinner.
His lack of goal scoring through the first 4 games of the Calgary series, he has certainly picked up his tempo. He has now scored 4 goals, and he has 9 points. Mike Modano had 5 goals in just 4 games for the Dallas Stars as they knocked off the St. Louis Blues. But Bure, despite the fact that he was not scoring in the first 4 games, was making a contribution, and Pat Quinn never ever criticized his performance at any time.
Well, I haven't heard Pat Quinn criticize any player specifically. At times he talks about his team and the fact that they are not as disciplined throughout the regular season that they perhaps could be, but he doesn't waste a bunch of time in getting a guy upset. He's the type of coach that gives you a chance to redeem yourself, and I think he's done that with Bure. And as much as you can be concerned about the lack of scoring that Bure had in the first 5 games of the Calgary series, when you're down 3-1 and your 60-goal scorer doesn't have any goals on the board, you get concerned. But when you win the series, who cares?
Oh, the puck bounced in front for Neil Broughton and was knocked away from him just in the nick of time. One thing Quinn said about Pavel Bure was that he would have to continue to play with patience and with emotion, and that he did. And Bure has it again. He drops it back. Didick shot right on, and Wakaluk makes the save with traffic in front of the net.
Well, Vancouver directing pucks at the net.
The Dallas Stars.
Didick, who scored a big goal on Mike Vernon with exactly the same shot, knows that you might as well shoot it every chance you get. At times, things open up, but when you've got two big horses like Adams and Linden in front of the net, get the puck on Wakaluk, and you never know what can happen. Take a look at these statistics over the last 15 games. Of course, that includes 4 straight against St. Louis in the opening round of the playoffs.
Bob Gainey was saying that Wakaluk's play has improved because of the presence of Andy Moe, who became only the 10th goaltender in NHL history this year to win 300 games. He ranks number 9 on the all-time list, 303 career wins. But Gainey was saying that Moe really helped Wakaluk's play.
Well, it's a nice situation for Gainey to be in, too. He also said that he couldn't make the wrong decision as far as choosing a goaltender.
Here's a chance now for Courtnall, and the shot is blocked. Going after it is Craven. Craven winds up and he fires it wide. Lume goes back of the net for Craven. Craven takes a hit. Puck loose, finally gained control of by the Stars. A lead pass intended for Courtnall beyond his reach. Hatcher, who tried to spring Courtnall free, starts back. Hatcher for Medano. Medano looks back to the point for Courtnall, and it was intercepted by Lume. He read that one very well.
Boy, Dallas does not have a whole lot of snap. Vancouver's playing them well to stop them from getting into this hockey game. Well, remember that this is a 2-3-2 series. These times are all Pacific times. And the reason it's 2-3-2 is because you've got a Pacific Division team and a Central Division team, not unlike the Leaf San Jose series. Games Wednesday, and then 3 in a row, Friday at Vancouver, Sunday at Vancouver. That's an afternoon game, and Tuesday at Vancouver as well. Tuesday, and then the 12th and the 14th of May are all, if necessary, games. But as we've seen, with the exception of 2 rounds, there's been more than 4 required to end these playoff series.
Hedican works his way slowly to the line. Bob Gainey was saying that he wasn't surprised at the way Hedican has performed in the playoffs for Vancouver, because he well remembers what he did when he was a member of the St. Louis Blues. And Pat Quinn is extremely happy with all 3 of the players he acquired from St. Louis as part of the compensation for the signing of Peter Nedved after the initial trade was made for Craig Janney. Lafayette didn't get a chance to play in the first 5 games of the Calgary series, but then stepped in and did a most commendable job. Now Eklund in the corner, being watched by Ronning. Eklund gets it back to Smolik. Smolik tried to shoot it towards the net. It was picked off by Ronning. Ronning's pass intercepted by Eklund. Eklund was a late season addition just prior to the trade deadline from Philadelphia. Jelena along the boards. Jelena is checked. The puck goes free, and Brown tried to get it out. Smolik kept it in. Well, obviously he did not keep it in. We can't see the boards on the near side, and obviously it just slipped out.
Well, Hedican is a player that really hasn't set himself up in the National League as far as whether he'll be a tremendous offensive threat or a strong defensive player, but you got to love the way he has competed in these series so far. Brett Gilchrist gets the brunt of Hedican's strength. He's taken the body consistently. He's made the simple, easy play. And Pat Quinn has to be happy, even though Hedican only played a short number of games after being acquired from the St. Louis Blues. When you can throw a guy into the Stanley Cup playoffs and get the kind of performance that Vancouver has got out of Hedican, coach has to be pleased about it.
Here comes McPhee. His shot goes off a skate to the corner. Churla crashes into Didick. Didick withstood that attack, which has to be good news, not only for Gerald Didick, but for the Vancouver medical staff. Here comes Babbage. Babbage for Hunter. Hunter is checked. The puck at the side of the net. Dean Evison gets tangled up with McIntyre. It comes free to Churla. Churla is wearing the captain's C for the Dallas Stars. Drop pass. Hatcher shoots, and he fires it wide. And Toski starts back down the left side. Evison comes back to cut him off. Matvechuk has the puck. Matvechuk waits. Now fires it in, and then Matvechuk and McIntyre collide, and they do some pushing in between the 2 benches.
You You know, sometimes, Don, when you get in between a check like that, you're better to use your memory and hit a little bit later, or you get flattened like McIntyre just did.
12:22 is the time remaining in the second period. Goal. It was 15-11 after one period, favoring the Stars. Vancouver with the only goal of this third period. Gagne's shot redirected to the corner, over the glass and out of play.
Boy, it's amazing what the ability to skate can do for you in the game. That sounds like kind of a silly statement, but regardless of whether you're an outstanding player like Bure or a guy that has good pursuit like Churla, the fundamentals of the game are so absolutely important to play at a high level.
Me and my nephew had this rivalry about our trucks. He was trying to pull out a car that had been buried in a snowbank. I said, well, when you guys stop fooling around, I'll yank you out with my Chevy. I backed down in there and pulled both him and the Plymouth out at the same time.
I was ice fishing when my Chevy fell through the ice. We hauled it out, full of water, frozen solid. I changed the plugs, the fluids. It started right up. That was 100,000 miles ago.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Where's everybody? Simple. People are bored with chicken. That's why Subway has our original turkey breast sub. It's oven roasted turkey on fresh baked bread with all the trimmings. So if you're tired of the same old chicken, Subway's talking turkey.
The original turkey breast sub
is after him, and the two bump again. Right up along the boards for Adams. Bure took a hit from Broughton. Here comes Adams with Linden. Ludwig ties up Linden. Broughton frees the puck for his brother Paul. Gagne couldn't do anything with it. Adams has it. Adams flips it in. It bounces to Bure. A quick shot fired wide. Linden along the boards with Paul. Broughton, it comes free. Hedekin trying to dance to the net. He's checked. The puck goes back to the net. And then Hedekin dodges a check. Finally, the Canucks get it out, or the Stars get it out to center ice. Ledyard will try and move it out. He was looking for Gagne coming down the left side. It was beyond his reach, and this is an icing call against Dallas with 11:02 remaining in the second period, and Vancouver in front 3-1.
Well, Jeff Courtnall just got under the skin of the Stars, and as a result, I think it's Hatcher will be going to the box. Excuse me, it's Paul Broughton. Bure with a great chance as the puck jumped over Ludwig's stick. You know, right in the middle of the ice, Broughton gives a poke at Courtnall. And this is something that Steve Armitage talked to Russ Courtnall about. Guys are going to be getting mad at the respective brothers on both teams. Don't worry about it. When it's all over, we'll talk about who won and who lost. And Mum will still be happy.
Well, two brother acts here at the Reunion Arena tonight. Neil and Paul Broughton, and of course the Courtnall brothers. And I'm sure that Darian Hatcher is thinking about the prospect of perhaps going up against his brother Kevin Hatcher with the Washington Capitals should the teams advance to the Stanley Cup final. Lume with a long shot, and Wakaluk had to make a good save through traffic.
Well, in the regular season, these guys scored virtually no power play goals against one another. 1 for 21 Vancouver was on their chances. Dallas was no better. But Vancouver is regularly now drifting the puck at the net. A beautiful deflection by Courtnall as he stabs out at the puck and gets a little bit of English on it. Brings it back into the pads of Wakaluk. Wakaluk needed great positioning to stop that shot.
Ronning moves into the face-off circle. It comes back to the line for Brown. Brown got turned around, had to dump it to the corner. Craven gets it back to Brown. Brown returns it to Craven. In for Ronning. Jeff Courtnall is in front of the net. Craven has it. Lume is circling. He had gone in deep. Now it comes to Craven. Craven goes back to the line. Again, Lume goes to the front of the net. Brown lets the shot go, and that was up high in Wakaluk. Lume in deep, and he just to keep it in. Ronning has it. Back to Craven. Again, Courtnall in front of the net. Ronning moving out from the corner, shoots from a sharp angle, and it's gloved and held by goaltender Darcy Wakalak.
Well, Canada having great success at the World Championship. The bad news is the St. Louis Blues are out of the playoffs. Not bad news from the Dallas Stars' perspective, but they certainly have helped Canada, and they defeat Russia 3-1. Sakic with a couple, Sanderson, the Hartford Whaler, and other scores. The Finns 7-2 over the U.S. and Sweden 4-1 over Czechoslovakia. My understanding is that Chris Chelios, who is a proverbial rink rat, just loves the game, can't get enough hockey. As soon as Chicago was beaten out by the Leafs, he was on a plane over to Bolzano to compete for the U.S. team.
Well, Joe Sakic in the first game of the World Championships took a puck in the mouth and had to have some dental work done. He'll be happy to make a contribution in a goal-scoring way in that victory today over Russia.
Tell me you wouldn't ask yourself, why did I come over, when your first game you get a piece of rubber in the chops.
Lume back to the line to Brown. Brown shoots, and another glove save by Wakalak.
Adams got a stick in front of the net. I think it came up and hit him in the face very quickly. But Vancouver continuing to play a simple, disciplined game, dumping the puck at the net. Adams, a brief little chat with Rob Schick. Let's see if we can see what happened. Once again, good puck movement and a shot on net. You see the stick come up right in front of the net. Wakalak has to get that hand out very, very quickly. And Ludwig, who's very, very strong, was a member of the 1986 Montreal Canadiens when they won the Stanley Cup. Does a great job at keeping players to the outside. Even when they're quick like Bure, Ludwig is much more mobile than he looks at times. He finds a way to push you to the outside and discourage you from coming to the middle.
McPhee gains control, and he was being pressured by Adams, but was able to get it out of the zone, putting it over the glass and out of play. Bob Gainey, in his fourth year as coach and his second year as general manager of the Stars. He took over the team June 9th, 1990, a Hall of Famer.
Just think, he was a playing coach in France, and they had squirrels on their uniforms. The team he looked after over there. He came back to Minnesota, and of course the move now to Dallas.
Lume works out from the corner. Lume goes to the net. He scores! Lume looked as though he was going to pass the puck out into the slot, and that may have fooled goaltender Wakaluk. And Norm Green, the owner of the Stars, can't be happy with what he's seeing in this first game of the semifinal series. It's now 4-1, but a great move by Lume.
Watch Lume look off his opponent as he goes to the middle of the ice. It appears that he's going to make the pass, and Wakaluk opens up a little bit. Watch, he's cutting to the net now. You'll see him look up. There's this guy sneaking into the slot, and as Wakaluk figures that the puck might come over, he opens up a tad, and Lume gently pushes it into the net. Not a hard shot, but a clever, crafty play by Lume to get his first on. You mentioned that he's improved his play in game 5, 6, and 7, and now in game 1 of the second series. And all of a sudden, Vancouver has got a 4-1 lead, and Dallas doesn't have a whole lot of jump. If the Canucks can keep the Stars to the outside now and continue to frustrate them, boy, they can get a well-deserved first victory here in this series.
Here comes Modano. Modano's shot is blocked. Back at the point, Cavallini let the shot go, and it was blocked by Memesso. He leaves it there for Ronning. Ronning on the wing for Jelena. Jelena moving in. He shoots. Pad save. The rebound. Jelena tried to flip it out front, but Wakaluk cleared it to the corner. Ronning having some problems with Modano. Modano knocked the puck away from him. Clap for Modano. Penalty coming up. Cavallini's shot is gloved and held by Kirk McLean, but the Vancouver Canucks will be forced to send out their penalty killing unit as a penalty was called behind the play by referee Rob Schick, and Sergio Memesso is heading off to the penalty box.
Well, after you take a 4-1 lead, you have to be extra careful that you don't draw a penalty. As you see Memesso get the hook on Modano, Modano could just have easily has gone with him, the old slew foot, as he let Momesso get caught up and then craftily took the feet out from underneath him. But Schick decided to call just the one. Momesso gets 120 seconds, while Modano will spend that same 120 seconds on the power play. The Dallas power play really revolves around Mike Modano. Bob Gainey holding court at the bench right now and using every second he can. This is a key power play opportunity. As I mentioned, Vancouver has just gone up by 3 goals to lead 4-1. Dallas can find a way to get a little bit of life here. All of a sudden they get themselves back in the game. If they don't, Vancouver is going to continue to build the way they have in the first 10 minutes of the first and in this entire second period.
Back to the line to Cavallini. He was an overtime hero in game 3. Here's Modano's shot that's held by Kirk McLean. Well, we talked earlier about the help that Andy Moog has provided for Darcy Wakaluk, and a lot of people were very surprised that Andy Moog sat on the bench for all 4 games of the series against the St. Louis Blues, and that he is sitting and watching again tonight for this first game against Vancouver.
Well, Moog had great success against Vancouver this year in the regular season, but as Gainey said, boy, with the way these guys were playing, he could have picked either one and he wouldn't have been wrong.
Cavallini's shot knocked down from the point. Ledyard let it go, and that was kicked out by McLean. Centered for Modano. He has a quick release. He's got an excellent wrist shot. Gainey said he may have one of the best wrist shots of anybody in the league. Ledyard moves in. Ledyard lost control of it, and now Glenn goes to the boards, and there's a whistle, and the Vancouver net has been knocked off its supports, and a penalty call by referee Rob Schick against the Vancouver Canucks. So for 124, a 2-man advantage as Tim Hunter goes to the penalty box.
Well, Hunter gets an interference penalty. I didn't see anything that out of the ordinary in front of the net. We'll see if the cameras can pick it up. Hunter discusses it with Momesso. Let's see if we can tell what happened. There's Gagne. Hunter goes in to bump him into the net. Not much doubt about that one. Not a great penalty to take at this stage. Now with Courtnall and Modano, these guys can move the puck very, very quickly. Ledyard is much more skilled than a lot of people realize. Gagne has got a good set of hands as well. Cavallini, we've seen him do scoring with a number of teams in the National Hockey League. Dallas's power play operating at 27% in the playoffs this year.
Modano against Linden, the #1 and #2 draft choices in 1988. Back at the line, Cavallini. Over to Ledyard, back to Cavallini. Courtnall takes a shot, it's blocked. It comes out front, Modano knocked it out of the air with a skate and then managed to get a shot. Here's Ledyard winding up, firing it wide. Cavallini from the other point trying to control it. It comes from Modano. Modano cross ice, and a beautiful glove save by Kirk McLean as he robbed Dave Gagne.
Playoff action on CBC continues tomorrow from Madison Square Garden. Game 2 in the Eastern semifinal between the Rangers and Washington. That one's a 4:30 start Pacific time. Game 2 in the Dallas-Vancouver series is set for Wednesday night, and that one is a 5:30 start Pacific time.
Don, you can put this one on the same tape where McLean robbed Reichel. Watch this play. Modano with a perfect pass over to Gagne. McLean reads it like a book, but he still needs tremendous reaction and hand-eye coordination to catch that one. That's a line drive from 20 feet, and McLean is flawless in stopping it and keeping this game 4. When you need that kind of save, if you're going to stop guys like Modano from scoring 5-on-3.
Captain Kirk was certainly at his best in overtime against the Calgary Flames, and that's a brilliant save by the Vancouver goaltender off Gagne. Here's another shot through traffic, and that is deflected to the boards by Lume, and it's fired down the ice by Linden. 42 seconds remaining in the 2-man advantage as Modano goes back to pick it up. Modano with Linden watching him, wheeling away from Linden. Modano Works to the corner, looks back to the point for Ledyard. Ledyard over to Cavallini. Cavallini moves into Modano. He partially fanned on the shot. He was attempting to one-time it. Now Russ Courtnall goes to the corner. And with Linden and Lume battling along the boards for Vancouver, the Canucks are successful in clearing. Back comes Gagne. Gagne leaves it there for Modano. Modano shoots. And McLean got a piece of that one. Russ Courtnall in the corner, out front for Modano. He tried to one-time it. It bounced off his stick, and Lume is able to get it out as Memesso comes out of the penalty box. 30 seconds remaining in the Tim Hunter penalty. Memesso goes to the Vancouver bench. Pavel Bure comes on. Ledyard leaves it there for Russ Courtnall. Russ Courtnall shoots, saved by McLean. The puck bounces high, and McLean squeezes it between his legs.
17 seconds remaining on the interference penalty to Tim Hunter. Vancouver has done a great job in frustrating Dallas. A couple of low percentage plays on the 5-on-3 that Dallas started to make after McLean's big save. Courtnall with a nifty little move to get an angle there. You saw him reach out and give himself another foot, improve his angle. Babbage taking his man in front. Gainey wondering what he's got to do to light a little fire under his team.
I'm sure that was one of Bob Gainey's concerns, that his team, after an 8-day layoff, might be a little slow and lack some of the same jump that they had in finishing off the St. Louis Blues in 4 straight. But give the Vancouver Canucks credit. They have played very well. Here's Hatcher racing in. Bure got there first. It goes back to the net, out front for Matvichuk. He scores! A power play goal for the Dallas Stars. Richard Matvichuk.
Well, 3 seconds remaining on the Vancouver penalty. One-on-one battles are the key here. And Dallas wins the one-on-one battle. Perfect pass as Craven gets pulled over to the side. He's got to watch the side slot, and Matvichuk is snuck in, nobody watching. Didn't shoot that hard, but placed it perfectly. And he gets the Stars within 2 and has reignited the crowd here at Reunion Arena.
The first ever postseason goal for Richard Matvichuk. #1 pick by the Stars in 1991. As I mentioned earlier, he spent a good portion of this season in Kalamazoo. Drop pass. Now back to the line. Babbage lets the shot go. Wakaluk bobbled it, and then with Lafayette trying to take up a position in front of the net, grabbed it and held it. 6:03 remaining in the second. The Canucks leading the Stars 4-2. McLean has been the busier of the 2 goaltenders, but the Vancouver Canucks lead it by a score of 4-2. Hatcher moves it up along the left side. McPhee having some problems getting out. Now he does come free. Barr with a shot. The rebound. It hits the post. They jam away. They score. McPhee is the one who finally knocked it in. Barr took the shot. It was off the post. And the Dallas Stars quickly are within a goal.
And you can't stress enough how important it is to get the puck deep at the blue line. You look at a 2-on-1 and think you could have done something else, but right here is where that error occurred. Vancouver has got to find a way to fight that puck in. The 2-on-1 results, and as everyone converges on the net and pulls out their curling brooms, there's nothing but net there as McLean makes the first big save. But McPhee is right on top of things. The first one isn't even a shot on net. But when you're standing with your feet on the top of the crease and the puck's in front of you, Don, even you could put that one in.
Hatcher hit the post, and then McPhee had the puck lying right there, and he gets his first goal of the playoffs with 5:46 remaining in the second period.
Never ceases to amaze me how games change. 3 seconds left in that power play opportunity. Vancouver is controlling the game completely. A quick power play goal, and then a miscue at the blue line, and all of a sudden, you got 20,000 people that are dying to see the home team tie this hockey game, and the white guys got a lot more jump in their legs than they had 5 minutes ago.
Ronning flips it to the corner. Going back after it is Mola. Smolik being pestered by Jelena. Jelena knocked him down, but the puck comes free to Modano. Modano and Corton will get to the line, and it's offside.
First goal of the playoffs, assisted by number 2, Darian Hatcher, and number 10, Dave Fogg.
Although you can't tell by the exterior expression, Gainey, without a doubt, a little more comfortable with the way this game is going now. Look at McPhee charging to the net. Craven is close to him. If Craven can pull himself up and take McPhee right out of the way, he's got a chance at stopping him. But you see the way McPhee turns his body, so now Craven has to go all the way around the big Dallas winger. And by the time you do that, he's already had a time to shoot the puck. And when there's no goalie in front of you, the score changes in his favor.
The 2 goals were scored within 34 seconds. Matt Tkachuk from Eklund and Churla, and then McPhee from Barr and Hatcher. Matt Tkachuk leaves it in the corner. Ronning in doing a forechecking job. Freed it. The puck is loose. Picked up now by Gagne. Gagne attempting to go rink wide. Broughton leaves it there for Brother Neal. He's hit by Momesso. And then Momesso knocks down Hatcher. And the puck is deflected over the glass and out of play with 4:41 remaining in the second period.
Stars during the playoffs on KLIF Talk Radio 570 AM.
Well, Pat Quinn boarded his team on a charter yesterday morning out of Calgary. Jumped in here, had a bit of time to relax. Not a lot of time to go over tape. Now, teams would be scouting all sorts of different things, but with the way this setup was, Toronto could have played anybody except Detroit. You had to scout 3 teams in the last series if you were the Dallas Stars or the Vancouver Canucks. And then when you have to condense that in a day's time, because you didn't know who you were playing until the night before, it puts a tremendous load on your assistant coaches and for the coach to get his mindset on the team that he's playing.
Diddick flips it high, taken there by Adams. Adams trying to work between the 2 defensemen. He was stopped. Bure along the boards, trying to move it. Linden comes in to help out. Diddick with a long shot from the point. That sails wide. Adams goes to the corner. Ledger ties him up. Linden comes in. He frees it. Linden looking for Bure. Bure, poke check by Barr. The puck to Adams, to Linden, back to Bure. Bure to the line. Diddick over to the other side. Babbage shoots. That deflects wide. Diddick races in from the point. McPhee takes him in against the boards. Loose puck picked up by Bure. Back to the line. Linden shot through some traffic, and it winds up in the equipment of Grant Ledger. 3:57 remaining in the second with the Stanley Cup update. Here's Steve Armitage.
Don, there is less than a minute to play at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, and the Leafs have just suffered a shark attack. That was Garperloff breaking in, puts it behind Potvin. It is San Jose 3, Toronto 2 with less than a minute to go in the opening game in that best-of-7 Western semifinal.
Don't say it, Don. I know, you told me they had to watch for them. Unbelievable. It shows you what good, solid defense can do. Gainey did it for years with the Montreal Canadiens. Dallas has had great success as well.
3:57, the time remaining in the second, with the Canucks nursing a 1-goal lead.
I want the truth, not a song and dance. I want better, not more expensive. I want a car I can afford and like. Hey, I just want my money's worth. Okay, actually, I want more than my money's worth. Play just underway. In the corner, Tim Hunter
is tied up. Now Gagne moves up ice. He's coming in against Brown. Back to Smolik. Smolik shot right on. Smolik will get it again. Smolik over to the other point. Flipped in by Hatcher. Picked up in the corner by Brown. Brown works his way slowly to center. Flips it to the corner. Hatcher goes back. Lafayette on top of him. Lafayette bumps him. The puck comes free. Bounced away from Craven in the slot. Dallas starts back. It's left there for Modano, but it's whistled down on a two-line pass. 2:50 the time remaining here in the second period, with the Canucks leading the Stars by a score of 4-3.
You know, there's a fair amount of hockey history here in Dallas. In fact, the Vancouver Canucks have got pretty good ties to Dallas. Back in 79-80, their farm team was in this area. Stan Smeal played 3 games down here, and the coach at that time was John Muckler. Chicago had a farm team here, the Dallas Hawks. The Central Hockey League had numerous games before moving in the mid-80s. All of a sudden, the show was back in Dallas.
Modano with a nice feed to Russ Courtnall. He's cut off by Craven. Craven couldn't go anywhere with it. Now Modano trying to use his speed and work around Brown, is knocked to the ice. 2:25 remaining in the second period. Hedican for Lafayette. Lafayette gets it ahead to Craven. Craven tried to drop it back to Lafayette, and the Stars start away. Courtnall forced to circle at the red line, leaves it there for Modano. Back to Courtnall. Courtnall is checked. The puck comes out across the line, picked up by Craven. Craven leaves it for Hedican. Hedican over for Brown, and Brown will drive it in with 1:54 left in the second, with Hatcher going back after it, but Wakaluk decided to clear it himself, or at least attempt to. Picked up by Gagne. Now Matvechuk, under some pressure, is forced to flip it high, and it goes out of play. With another Stanley Cup update, here's Steve.
Don, the final seconds ticking away at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. A big story, a major upset. The San Jose Sharks going into Maple Leaf Gardens and knocking off the Leafs in Game 1 by a count of 3-2. So Arturs Irbe and San Jose do a little celebrating. If you didn't think the Sharks were for real, talk to the Leafs tonight, because they came out on the tail end of a 3-2 score in the opening game in that half of the Western semifinal. Don?
Babbage with a shot that goes wide. There were people talking about a possible Toronto sweep in the series, saying goaltending with Potvin in goal for Toronto would make the difference. Well, goaltending has made the difference, but it's Arturs Irbe who has been the goaltending star. Broughton attempted to center, and back comes Ronning. Ronning with Jelena racing up in the play, but Broughton was able to take it away from him. 1:11 remaining in the second period, with Vancouver in front of Dallas by a score of 4-3. And again, there's a whistle as the puck is flipped over the glass and out of play.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
Arturs Irbe was originally drafted by the Minnesota North Stars back in 1989. He was a 10th round pick from Dynamo Riga, 196th. San Jose picked him up when they moved to the coast, and the teams split down the middle. And before you know it, he's leading them out of the first round of the playoffs, backstopping them to a lead in the second round.
Well, that series is also a 2-3-2 affair, so a big win for San Jose, as they now really have home ice advantage. Shot is fired wide by McPhee. Here's Gilchrist with a shot. McPhee went for the net, and we welcome viewers in Alberta and Saskatchewan here at the Reunion Arena in Dallas. It's 4-3, Vancouver leading, and I'm sure The viewers in Alberta and Saskatchewan are surprised as most everyone else with the San Jose upset of the Toronto Maple Leafs. 18 seconds remaining in the second period. Vancouver at one point enjoyed a 4-1 lead, but 2 goals within 34 seconds by Matt Tkachuk and McPhee brought the Dallas Stars back within a goal. Platt has stopped as he tried to work through, and it's fired the length of the ice as the final seconds tick off the clock to end the second period.
Well, both periods fairly similar. Vancouver started and dominated the initial stages of frame number 1 and frame number 2. In number 2, a 5-on-3, and with 3 seconds remaining in the ensuing 5-on-4, Dallas got a little bit of life, a turnover at the blue line, and all of a sudden they're back into this hockey game. The question is whether Vancouver can put the clamp on them in the opening stages of the third and carry that through over 20 instead of just doing it for the first 10 or 12.
4-3, Vancouver leads after 2. Let's join Steve to find out what's upcoming in our second intermission.
Don, coming up in the second period intermission tonight from Dallas, we'll be talking to the Vancouver Canucks' Greg Adams, who had that huge goal for the Canucks the other night in Game 7 against the Calgary Flames. We'll also have an update from Maple Leaf Gardens, where the Leafs lose to the San Jose Sharks. Ron McLean will be sending us a report. Molson Hockey Night in Canada, the Stanley Cup playoffs on CBC, continue from Dallas in just a moment. We're looking live at downtown Dallas on a rainy evening in Texas, where after 2 periods of play in Game 1, it's still Vancouver on top, but the margin is 1 goal, 4-3 after 40 minutes. Joining me now from the Vancouver Canucks is Greg Adams. Greg, you had him on the ropes. You let him off the hook there a bit in the second period.
Yeah, we let down a bit. We made a couple mistakes, and they capitalized on them. And you can't do that against a team like this. They're gonna take advantage of those mistakes.
We thought there might be a fatigue factor going into this game. Is it more mental than physical, or is it both?
Well, I think it's both. You know, a lot of people don't realize that the mental fatigue that goes into these games every day, especially you're playing a game every second night, and we've played 3 overtimes in a row in the last while. So there's a lot of mental fatigue as well as physical fatigue.
Greg, part of the reason that you're here, and certainly the Vancouver Canucks are here, is a big goal that you scored against the Calgary Flames. This forced the OT in Game 7. Take us through it.
Well, Pavel drew a bunch of guys to it, and all I did was drive to the net there and throw the puck at it, and I was lucky just to kind of roll over his pad.
You scored a lot of big goals in your career, but I suspect a few will be bigger that in your memory.
I'll remember that one for quite a while. It was a great feeling. It really wasn't a great feeling until Pavel scored the overtime goal. Then it was a really good feeling.
Did you really feel like you had any time to enjoy it, though?
Not really. You know, as fast as we scored, we had to forget about it. We had to go right back out there and worry about the game. We're still in a tied game, and 1 goal won the series, so we didn't have any time to enjoy that.
Look ahead to the third period. Tell us what's going to happen.
Well, I think it's going to be pretty much the same as the first 2. It's been a tough, grinding game out there. We expected that, and I'm sure they expected it. So both teams are anxious to get going and want the first win.
Good luck in the third and the rest of the series.
Thanks very much.
Greg Adams of the Vancouver Canucks has been my guest. Coming up next, we'll get a special report from Ron McLean on the Sharks' victory over the Leafs tonight in Toronto. Here after 2, it's the Canucks by 1. Welcome back to Dallas, where after 2 periods of play in Game number 1, it's the Vancouver Canucks 4, the Dallas Stars 3, with 20 minutes of regulation time remaining. At Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto tonight, the other half of the Western semifinal, the Leafs against the Sharks. Pat Burns hoping that his club could do what the Red Wings couldn't, and that is get the jump on the Sharks. Of course, Kevin Constantine, the coach of the Sharks, hoping that history would repeat, and it looked as if it would in the early going. Look at the time that Wendell Clark and the space he has at the corner of the crease, just tucks it behind Arturs Urbe, and the Leafs are off and running. That coming at 2:31. But Igor Larionov, the former Canuck, fires a quick shot there, puts it behind Felix Potvin, and it's deadlocked at 1. And then Arturs Urbe makes a mistake. Osborne is there to capitalize on it, tucks it in. That makes it 2-1 Leafs. But Pat Falloon comes back to tie it. A nifty little backhander right there behind Potvin, and that made it 2-2. And then Garpenlov takes a pass from Larionov, and that is the winner for the San Jose Sharks. A 3-2 final, and the Sharks have a 1-0 lead. Now to Ron McLean in Toronto.
The Sharks just keep coming with the shocks. 3-2 at Toronto tonight. They lead the series with one more here and then 3 in San Jose. And fans of the first round in the last part of the season can't get over it. As you said, you guys getting used to this yet. Igor Larionov joins me. Congratulations, Igor. A great game for you personally. Tell me about how you achieved the victory tonight.
Thanks, Ron. And I would like to say thanks everybody in our team, because everybody played so hard, and it was a tough game for us, especially after big win in Detroit. And we had 20 guys tonight working hard, and it was a team effort.
Very pretty game-winning goal. It came late stages of the third period. We'll look at it, and you can tell me about it. Go ahead.
I was standing in the slot, and I guess who was defenseman, I can see. And I got back from Sandy Sutherland, and I saw Johan Garpenlov was wide open on the left side, so I just gave him soft backhand pass, and he made no mistake.
Now, I thought that was identical to the goal 1 minute into the game in Detroit. You say it was good luck on your part. Let's look at that goal 47 seconds in. There's Sergei Makarov. You go ahead.
It was kind of a tic-tac-toe combination when we used to play in Russia. I supposed to shoot, but I a little bit delayed, and so I made a delayed decision, give it pass to Sandis, and Sandis give it wide open pass to Garpenlov.
Wish we had more time. I'll ask you maybe later in the series about Paul Henderson and the pep talk, but we don't have time now. We're going back to Dallas. Again, congratulations. Good luck Wednesday night.
Thank you, Ron.
Igor Larionov, the #1 star for the San Jose Sharks as they defeat the Leafs. The final 3-2.
And here at the Reunion Arena in Dallas, we are in the second intermission with the Canucks leading Dallas 4-3. But as you see that score there, 3-2. Here it is 4-3 with 20 minutes still to come. More on Molson Hockey Night in Canada, the Stanley Cup playoffs on.
Welcome back to Reunion Arena in Dallas, where the visiting Vancouver Canucks lead the Stars by a score of 4-3, heading into the third period. Vancouver opened the scoring, 2 goals, 4-on-4. Craven and Courtnall at 1:58 and 5:15. Broughton at 11:48. It was 2-1 Vancouver after 1. In the second period, Vancouver jumped into a 4-1 lead. Bure and Lume, the goal scorers, but then Matvachuk scored at 13:40, and just 34 seconds later, McPhee from Hatcher and Barr reduced the lead to just 1 goal.
Well, Bure with great presence of mind that only the goal scorers have. Look how he takes his time. Most guys would have released by this time, but he waits for something to open up. At times it costs you, but more often than not, when you have that kind of skill and that type of accuracy, you end up scoring. This was the 4-2 goal, and this is a key one for Dallas. Churla does a good job in the corner, but as Matvachuk sneaks in with 3 seconds remaining on the Canuck penalty, Dallas gets a little bit of that mole going, and then McPhee drives to the net, and all of a sudden we got a 1-goal ball game for the 20-minute period about to start.
Linden wins the draw. Hedican being watched by Modano. Over to Brown. Back to Linden. Linden tried to wind up. The puck comes back to Adams. His shot is blocked. Ludwig checked along the boards. Mike McPhee flips it down the ice, and Hedican will have to race back after it. This should be an icing call against Dallas, and it is.
Oh, Bure and Modano, 2 game breakers. This will get a bit of a scuffle. Shifts very close. Ice time, though, substantially different. Bure not playing as much as he was in Calgary. In Calgary, he almost had 30 minutes and sometimes more than 30 minutes a game. And look at the shots. Bure not shooting as much as Modano. As we said at the start of the telecast, Modano with 27 shots in 4 games against St. Louis. Bure with 28 in 7 games against Calgary. Both of these guys have got shots that can score from virtually anywhere. Modano's shot is a little bit heavier than Bure, but Bure is perhaps slightly quicker and can get himself a little closer than Modano can. When it's all said and done, that's the reason that they both have scored more than 50 goals.
Kay Whitmore, the backup goaltender for Pat Quinn's Vancouver Canucks. He has never appeared in a playoff game for Vancouver. There was some speculation that Whitmore might suit up tonight based on the way he played here at the Reunion Arena during the regular season. But after what Kirk McLean did to the Calgary Flames,
Pat Quinn wasn't about to make any goaltending change.
Well, Gainey had the same decision with Moog. Moog had played all the games against the Canucks this year with great success, but with Wakaluk's success in the 4 games against St. Louis, that decision was a little bit easier, although the coach was coy about saying who he would play.
Brown was unable to keep it in. Memesso will drive it back in. Wakaluk leaves it behind the net for defenseman Matvechuk, who leads the attack coming up ice. Matvechuk for Courtnall. Courtnall uses Klatt to work in against the boards, and then as he tried to go rink wide, it was blocked by Ronning, and Courtnall had to retreat into his own zone. He takes the pass from Hatcher. Courtnall can fly. He comes in across the line. Nifty move, hits the shot away, and it's knocked down by McLean, and Memesso starts back with Craven. Craven drops it off for Memesso. Memesso against Cavallini. Goes back of the net. Memesso still controlling. Memesso behind the goal for Craven. Craven attempted to center it. It went off his skate to the other corner. Lafayette tried to free it. It comes to the point. Babbage keeps it in. Eklund tries to get it out the other way. He moves it to Gilchrist. Gilchrist for Modano beyond his reach, and Babbage fires it back out. Lafayette stepped into Barr. Gilchrist picks up the puck. Gilchrist against Lume. Lume ties him up. Courtnall comes into the corner, picks up the puck. He starts away. Courtnall has Lafayette with him. Courtnall for Lafayette, and Lafayette goes crashing into the net. He went into Wakaluk first as he was reaching for the centering pass, and then went heavily into the Dallas goal.
Now, I don't like to see goalies get run over, but I love these kinds of plays where the passer has the ability to put the puck to where his teammate is going. Courtnall does that here, and if Lafayette has got another half a step, he's got a great opportunity to catch that puck, but in stretching to get it, he stretches a little too much, loses his balance, and goes in to Wakaluk. Here's a look at it here. Look at Courtnall, lays the pass across to where Lafayette will end up. A bit of a full gainer in the air on behalf of Wakaluk. They made some great improvements to these nets over the last few years. I can remember an injury that Mark Howe suffered, gosh, it's got to be 10 years or so ago now, where he slid into the net and he basically impaled himself on that metal part that came out in the middle by the middle post. Magnets and marsh pegs and some different modifications to the hemp hut. And all of a sudden now when somebody goes into it, you don't have near the injuries, albeit sometimes we complain that the nets get lodged a little bit too much.
Glenn moves it across for Lume. Wakaluk tees it up back of the goal for Ledyard. He was a pretty good addition to this Dallas team as a free agent. Now it's Paul Broughton. Stopped behind the goal. Bure for Adams. Adams had some problems controlling it. Now he banks it off the boards. Ahead for Linden, but it's a 2-line pass with 17:23 remaining in the third period. Troy Aikman is a regular at Reunion Arena, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, watching tonight's game as the Stars try to erase a 4-3 Vancouver lead. Tim Hunter chops it down the ice. Back after it goes Cavallini, and Toski is racing in as well, and then Toski takes off the icing. McIntyre from behind the net, continuing to battle. He takes a shot. It's knocked down at the side of the goal. McIntyre is then checked. Glynn keeps it in at the point. Good effort by Antoski to race in to take off the icing and set up a scoring opportunity. Eklund with a shot just wide. Eklund off balance, let a shot go that almost fooled Kirk McLean, but it went wide. Eklund has it again. His shot is blocked. And Lume will try and skate it out the other way, being watched by Barr, and he decides to flip it down the ice. And this time there will be icing as Hatcher goes back to touch it. Well, I talked about Troy Aikman, the current quarterbacking hero of the Cowboys. There's a Hall of Fame former quarterback of the Cowboys, Roger Staubach.
Is he the guy with the binoculars, Don, or the guy with the hat?
Obviously, Pep, you're not a football fan.
No, I thought it was funny. The guys were telling me that because the Stars practice facility is out where the Cowboys practice, they've got to know a lot of the players, and clearly lots of Cowboys and ex-Cowboys down here watching games. And the guys, the Cowboys that is, have almost become part of the team. In fact, after the game against St. Louis, you know how the dressing room is off bounds, much more so than in the regular season. All the Cowboys were in there giving guys high fives, and the coaches were wondering what the heck was going on. The Cowboys charged right in just like it was their own dressing room, because they're happy for their pals on the Dallas Stars.
One fan at the game tonight holding up a sign said, "We've got the bowl, now we want the cup." A reference to the back-to-back Super Bowl wins and the Stars' pursuit of the Stanley Cup. Vancouver doing a pretty good job of clogging up the front of the net. But now Churla goes back of the goal. Churla taken in against the end boards by Hedican. Hedican and Churla have had something going all night. Churla tries to jam it. They bang away. They score. McPhee got to it, and McLean is upset. He's protesting to referee Rob Schick. But I think this complaint is going to go unanswered by the referee. So it's tied at 4.
Now there's nothing pretty about this goal unless you're on the Dallas Stars. Churla continues to jam away at the net. He gets a little bit of room here. Dump the puck at the net if you're in doubt. You see that McPhee jumps into the crease after the puck and after the puck. Pokes it between McLean's feet. Churla comes out. Look at McPhee. Goes in right here and jams it. I don't know whether he got a stick on it or not. But a simple goal as Rob Schick is on the headset now to get a little bit of help from the video goal judge.
Well, as we take a look at the overhead view, it appears as though the puck went in off the skate of McLean. I'm not sure whether McPhee ever touched it, but it was subject to video review.
Well,
but it is going to stand. It's 4-4.
This is a tough one to tell. McIntyre, I think, makes the choice to go after the puck with his stick as it goes in between McLean's feet. Watch McIntyre come in. He sees the puck going in, or it's Trevor Linden, excuse me. No, I don't think that anybody touched it. I think Linden thought about getting it. The puck bobbled between McLean's feet and found its way into the net. That was a perfect replay to see what happened, Don.
Well, Churla went back of the net, and the man who is wearing the C for this series on behalf of the Dallas Stars might get credit for the goal, because it didn't appear as though McPhee got his stick on it. An interesting situation regarding this captaincy. When Mark Tenorti was injured, Bob Gainey decided that the assistant captains would rotate wearing the C, and in the playoffs, Mike Modano wore the C for the first series, and Shane Churla is wearing the C for the second series.
Scoring for Dallas, number 17, Mike McPhee.
Well, they have announced that McPhee is the goal scorer, and I guess he may have touched it.
His second goal of the playoffs and second of the night.
Shot taken by Klatt. He's checked heavily in against the end boards. Moved ahead, intended for Craven. Craven couldn't get to it. As Matvechuk throws it around to the other side. Broughton cut off by Didick as he tried to come out. 15:35 remaining in the third. The game is tied at 4. Courtnall has Neil Broughton all over him. Courtnall tried to move it ahead to Lafayette. Broken up now. Craven has it. Craven with Courtnall in across the line, but a penalty call was made by referee Rob Schick against the Vancouver Canucks. Broughton was hit with a high stick. McPhee from Churla and Evason is how they have awarded the tying goal. And now Pat Quinn has to be concerned as his team is shorthanded. Didick has gone to the penalty box with 15:20 remaining.
Well, Didick gets a high sticking penalty on Neil Broughton, I believe. You make the call. as he drags the stick across Broughton's face. Accidental. As much as that rule causes problems sometime, I like the idea of having a player responsible for a stick, even if it's accidental, which rarely happens. I think this was one of those cases. Now, the house cameras say that McPhee got this goal. Not that it's a big issue, but clearly no stick is on it. Shane Churla should be credited with that. Some great camera work. And Hockey Night in Canada done, and we know the real story.
Well, if it is credited to McPhee, that's his second of the hockey game. 2 big goals for the 1986 Stanley Cup champion with the Montreal Canadiens. Ledyard watched by Courtnall. Ahead to Gagne. Gagne goes behind the goal. Cavallini taking a position up in front of the net. The shot sails wide. Back to Ledyard at the point. Ledyard dishes off to Modano. Modano couldn't center against Courtnall. Modano now back to the line. Cavallini at the side of the net to Russ Courtnall. Along the boards, Linden frees it for Jeff, but it's too far for him. He watches Ledyard take it back into his own zone and then goes to the bench. Murray Craven manages to get it out. Russ Courtnall being forced back by Craven. Now Cavallini for Ledyard. Ledyard in across the line for Russ Courtnall. Courtnall goes to the corner. Tried to go back to the point, had it taken away by Bure. Bure flips it down the ice with 38 seconds remaining in the penalty to Gerald Diddick. 13:55 remaining in the period. The game tied at 4. Here come the Stars again on the power play. Gilchrist behind his back for Modano. Modano takes a hit from Hedican. The puck goes to the far corner. Bure gains control. He'll take his time and flip it high down the ice.
Well, if Vancouver can keep their composure here, they will get some power play opportunities.
Chuck puts on the brakes. The Hatcher, shot through traffic, saved by McLean, and then the bouncing puck is kicked to the corner by the Vancouver goaltender, and it goes over the glass out of play with just 2 seconds remaining in the penalty to Diddick.
Vancouver has only had 2 power plays in the hockey game so far. Dallas is in the middle of their 6th, only 2 seconds remaining. A good save here by McLean. That puck is deflected at the start, and you see the bounce that it takes. Look at Babbage here. He doesn't care where the puck is. He's just doing his job and clearing out anything that doesn't have a Canucks emblem on it in front of the net. Now Dallas with 6 power play opportunities, including a 5-on-3.
Primetime news will be coming along the network for viewers in Alberta and Saskatchewan following the hockey game here at Reunion Arena in Dallas. Lume works his way out. Vancouver at full strength. Lume goes in deep, and it's offside. Times it's very difficult to hear whistles on offside calls here at the Reunion Arena. Martin Jelena at the blue line was ahead of rushing defenseman Jyrki Lume.
Got to get the puck deep. You got guys like Jelena. If they put the binders on, unless you can weave your way in and get a great scoring opportunity, your decision was incorrect. Jelena had to stop. He was a hair over the line, and although Lume had a head of steam up, the play was whistled down.
Hatcher for Matvechuk. Lume cuts off a clearing attempt. Jelena tried to center. He's checked by Matvechuk. Lume has it again. Lume's shot bounces in front of the net, fired wide by Jelena. Memesso bumps McPhee. Memesso centered. Lynn had been racing in from the point, but couldn't get there in time. Ronning for Memesso. Memesso dumps it in, and the Canucks make a change. Ronning is in forechecking, watching Matvechuk back of the goal. Matvechuk for Hatcher over to Evason. Evason got turned around and grabbing the pass, then is checked by Craven. Craven for Courtnall, he overskated. Craven gets it again. He tried to center. It bounces off his skate, and Babbage has to go back after him. Courtnall can't control the pass. He has to chase it down in his own zone. Courtnall gets away from Gagne. He's got a head of steam as he hits the center line. Courtnall drops it off. Here's a shot by Lafayette that rolls off Smolikin goes to the corner, and it's flipped down the ice by the Stars, and this will be icing Dallas with 11:52 remaining in the third period. And this first game of this semifinal series is tied at 4.
Vancouver is starting to see the way Dallas clogs up the middle. Look at the way all the Stars come back and put a human wall in front of Lafayette. You got to get the puck deep or shoot it. By the time you get to the top of the circles, if you haven't made that decision, there's not a lot of room the way Dallas is starting to collapse now.
Smolak knocks down Courtnall. Here's Paul Broughton taking the pass from Brother Neil, picked up by Cavallini, cuts in front, and it was steered to the corner. Jeff Courtnall fires it over on the wing. Here comes Brown with a shot right on, and Wakala came out of the net to cut down the angle. Platt brings it back. For Neil Broughton, his high shot steered to the corner by McLean. Lafayette banks it off the glass, back to center ice. Cavallini has it. Over to Ludwig. Ludwig fires it in as we approach the 9-minute mark of the third period with the game tied at 4. Game 2 in the series here at the Reunion Arena on Wednesday night, and then the series moves to Vancouver for the next 3. Friday night and Sunday afternoon, and if a 5th game is necessary, on Tuesday night. Complete sellout at the Reunion Arena tonight, 16,914. Top seats in this building go for $80 a copy.
They were lined up at the ticket office buying the remaining few hundred for Wednesday's game. Norm Green has had a great turnaround here from what the team experienced in Minnesota last year.
Pavel Bure with a quick release, and that's fired just wide. Linden ties up his man. Shane Churla following up in the play. Ludwig picks it up. He drives it in. And the Dallas Stars make a change. This is an icing call. Obviously, they didn't get to the center line before firing it in.
Don't play around with high prices. Come to Canadian Tire, your summer sports headquarters, and save on a huge selection of top-name sports equipment.
Well, the Stars won 3 of the 4 matches against Vancouver this year, a couple of them in overtime. And right now, with the score tied at 4, 10:06 remaining in the third, we might see 2 in a row. March 20th was the last one. Whitmore and Moog played all those games.
Pass ahead to Russ Courtnall. Gagne goes for the net. Courtnall hit the side of the goal. Jelena goes to the corner, trying to get away from Gagne. Now the puck is played up along the boards for Momesso. Momesso is having some problems getting out against Hatcher. Finally, Ronnie spots an opening, and he flips it the length of the ice. Matvechuk is back after it. He's being watched by Jelena. Redirected down the ice by Medano. Babbage is back. Babbage starting up slowly, banks it off the boards. Jim, I wonder right now if fatigue might be beginning to set in for Vancouver after that tough 7-game series. Here comes Jelena. Jelena trying to go for the net. He's knocked off the puck by Hatcher, who played that one well. Now it's Ronning going to the other corner. Ronning is checked. The puck loose back to the net. Knocked past Momesso. Flipped out to center. Back after it goes Didick. Didick shaken up in the first period, but he was able to return for the second. Didick leaves it there for Lafayette. Lafayette, a backhand shot that Wakala grabs, then comes out of his net and plays up on an open wing. Platt knocks it to center ice. Hedican goes back after it. 8:43 remaining in the third period. The game tied at 4 here at the Reunion Arena in Dallas. The opening game of this best of 7 Western Conference semifinal series. In case you missed it, earlier tonight, a big surprise at Maple Leaf Gardens. The San Jose Sharks defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-2. Paul Broughton shoots it to the corner. McPhee, who has scored twice, goes after it. His shot winds up at the side of the net. Brought out by Lafayette and fired down the ice, and Wakala gets there to play it away from Courtnall. The puck bounces free at center ice. Barr picks it up. Barr is taken out of the play, and Linden is back to pick up the puck.
Wakaluk is very, very active with the puck. You got to dump it away from him. The last 3 or 4 times that Vancouver has dumped the puck in. Wakaluk has been out and has made a great play to clear his zone.
Eklund made a good move to take off the icing, but the Stars can't keep it in the zone, and Linden is hit with a high stick, and this is going to produce a penalty against the Dallas Stars. So with 7:38 remaining in the third, Vancouver will have a power play. Hockey player, not the PGA golfer, goes to the penalty box at 12:22. Game tied at 4 with the Stars holding a 36-29 edge in shots, and it was the stick getting up into the face of captain Trevor Linden that resulted in the penalty call by Rob Schick. Lume fired it rink wide for Brown. Brown took a hit as he drove it in. Linden gets it back to the line. Lume couldn't control it. It got tangled up in his skates, and Lume did a pretty good job of preventing a Dallas breakaway.
Would have been very easy for Lume to get up and try to come back, but he figured he was out of it anyways. A little second effort, and he caught the puck with his stick and stopped what probably would have been a breakaway or a 2-on-1 at the very least for the Stars.
Gilchrist breaks it up at center ice. It's stolen away from him. Here comes Bure. Linden drives to the net. Bure getting set. Looks back to the point for Lume. Lume sees some traffic in front, decides to give it off instead to Brown. And Brown is pressured along the boards. Linden centers, and Adams in front of the net just steered it wide. Bure back to Lume. Bure takes a hit. Hatcher knocked him down. Now Ludwig bumps Adams. Linden behind the goal trying to fray it. He's checked. Ludwig running into every black jersey in sight. He's playing a very physical game for the Stars, and with 35 seconds remaining in the penalty to Barr, the Stars are successful in clearing. Brown fires it in, but he didn't get to the center line. He was a good 3 or 4 strides from the center line, and it's icing in Vancouver.
Now that gets back to one of those little things that you just sometimes forget about. That's where experience and discipline pay off. Adams had a great chance in front. Watch Trevor Linden, and as he fires the puck out, Adams tries to deflect it between his legs and just misses the right-hand side. Some very, very strong body checks from Hatcher as he catches Bure trying to get out of the way, puts him down, and that carried on with Ludwig behind the net and Hatcher again. 24 seconds remaining in Vancouver's power play.
6:03 the time remaining in the third period. Babbage being watched by Neil Broughton, now decides to skate his way out. He has Ronning driving in on the right side, but Wakaluk gets back to the net to play the puck. And your reference earlier, Jim, to how active Wakaluk is, well taken. Right there, he made a key play. Diddick couldn't control it at the line.
The only thing you can do when you have a goalie that is really active like that is shoot the puck either on the glass or go cross ice. That way sometimes he makes an effort to come out and you catch him, or it takes a weird bounce off the glass and you get a break. At the very least, he's not going to be out moving it out and stopping your forecheck.
Hatcher moves it ahead to Russ Courtney. He lets the shot go. McLean has it, and McLean will hold it for a face-off. 5:08 is the time remaining in the third period. And the Canucks headed for a 4th straight overtime game. Semifinal series hold dual portfolios. They are both coach and general manager of their respective teams. And as they look up at the clock, they see 5:08 remaining in a 4-4 tie. Modano gets the draw back to Courtnall. He couldn't shoot it as Jelena was on him quickly. Jelena flips it to the corner. Hatcher goes back after it. Play broken up at center ice by Brian Glynn. Loose puck. Jumping on it is Lafayette for Adams. Back to Lafayette. Oh, he fired it wide. And again, the Dallas net is knocked off its supports. Lafayette assists in games 6 and 7. A little upset with himself as he looks for his first ever playoff goal. firing it wide of Darcy Wackel.
Well, he took some time and he went right up top, Don. A nice little dump pass here by Adams, and Lafayette takes a look and goes right to the roof. Hatcher knocks the net off its moorings. Now, Hatcher has been on the edge here this period. He's fortunate that Rob Schick is giving him a little bit of latitude. Otherwise, he could have had a high sticking penalty or two. Now, Pat Quinn just lets his guys play. He's not real big on matching lines. Bob Gainey, very, very similar. Much different approach than what we saw in the last Vancouver series.
Well, against the Calgary Flames, the Flames attempted to have Mike Sullivan shadow Pavel Bure, and they also attempted to have Zarli Zalapsky on the ice at all times against Pavel Bure. Bob Gainey not quite as concerned. They score from the faceoff. The quick shot by Martin Jelena.
Jelena has had a very strong game tonight, Don. He's been good in more than one game in this playoff run. Shoot the puck. Notice he's a left shot on the right side. Lafayette wins the draw and then takes his centerman. And because Jelena has half a step on the left-hand side, he gets a quick release away. Shoot the puck at the net. How often do you have to tell somebody to do that? You didn't have to tell Jelena, and there's a huge goal. 4:39 remaining. It's Jelena's third, and the Canucks take a one-goal lead.
Lafayette in the face-off circle tied up his man, and Jelena simply walked in and let it go. Adams fakes the shot. Now Adams banks it off the boards looking for Linden. Ludwig got there first. Now Grant Ledyard moves away. Lead pass cut off by Adams. It's loose in the corner in the Vancouver zone. Again, Linden ties up his man. It goes around the other side for Bure. He redirects it past the charging defenseman down the ice. 4:06 remaining. 5-4, the Vancouver Canucks lead in this first game of this best-of-7 Western semifinal series. Meso along the boards, battling there with Hatcher. It comes free for McIntyre. Jelena is in forechecking. He runs into Wakaluk. The puck comes up along the boards. Paul Broughton is tied up by Memesso, and the Canucks fire it right back in. Well, Jelena is certainly inspired with that goal because he's trying to hit everybody now as he went charging into Matvechuk. Flynn is bumped by Broughton. The puck goes to the corner. Broughton, who scored the first goal of the game for Dallas, takes it back of the goal, being watched now by Lume. Lume takes it away from him, flips it around the boards, and it will come past Hatcher at the point. The Dallas defenseman gets it again for Gagne, but Paul Broughton was offside. 3:08 remaining in the third period with the Canucks leading 5-4.
Let's have another look at the go-ahead goal. Jelena, who's had a strong game tonight, jumps off the wing.
901 Main Street.
Lafayette gets his rear end
Dallas, Texas,
in the way.
75202.
And Ron Smith doesn't want to get too happy yet. You see the glance up at the clock. Both guys wondering now how much time they have to hold on to.
15:21. The time of the goal by Martin Jelena, with Nathan Lafayette drawing the assist. Craven is following Ledyard down the ice as the puck was left there. The two overskated back after it goes Brown, icing Dallas. 2:47 remaining in the third period. 5-4, Vancouver leading.
Well, the more face-offs that you can get in the Dallas end, if you're a Canuck or a Canuck fan, the more you want there. Conversely, Dallas wants to get the puck as far away as possible. It'll be interesting to see if Vancouver sits back a little bit and allows Dallas to put some pressure on the way they did at the end of the first period and the second period.
Many people were obviously talking about Pavel Bure's double overtime winner in Game 7 against Calgary, but Coach Dave King of the Flames paid quite a compliment to Brown, as he said it was his pass that really made the play, as Jeff Brown fed it perfectly to Pavel Bure to send him in alone. Ludwig almost lost control against the forechecking of Bure. Now the Vancouver Canucks Just driving the puck into Dallas territory every time they get to the center line. Not trying to do anything fancy, nursing this 1-goal lead. They are scheduled to skate tomorrow, but it will probably be optional. Here's the shot by Brown, the rebound by Bure, and that is fired wide. Clapp bumped along the boards by Bure. Bure steals it from him. Bure circles. Now Bure is going to take it out to center ice. 2:07 remaining in the period. He dumps it to the corner. Modano. Checked by McIntyre. McIntyre kicks it in across the line. Back after it goes Churla. McIntyre is watching him. 1:47 remaining in the third period. Stars having problems getting out of their own zone, trying to set something up. Here's Jelena in for checking. Now Dallas starts away. Gilchrist against Momesso. Gilchrist centers it. Nobody there. McIntyre can't get it out. Gilchrist has it again. A shot that's juggled and then held by McLean. 1:23 remaining in the third. 5-4. The Vancouver Canucks lead the Dallas Stars.
Well, Vancouver doing a nice job in getting the puck deep on Dallas and then putting pressure on them. It's very easy to just dump it in and sit back and wait for the next wave. The best way to kill the clock effectively is to dump it in and then pressure your opponent. They did that for a while, but Dallas with Modano has fought their way into the Vancouver zone, and now has got a face-off to the right of McLean.
Pat Quinn saw his team shut out Calgary 5-0 in game 1 of the first round, and then fall behind 3-1 in games, and then become the 12th team in National Hockey League history to overcome a 3-1 deficit in games and win the series. And he'd like that string to continue into 4 games with an opening round win against the Dallas Stars. A timeout has been called against the Stars with 1:23 remaining. And that also affords Quinn the opportunity to talk to his players and what he wants them to do in a defensive mode.
Well, when you get on a roll in the playoffs, it's amazing how, if you can sense those little parts of the game that allow you to find a way to win as opposed to try and stay even, before you know it, a series is over and you've won another one. The thing that experience gives you is the understanding how quickly the game can change and how fast a series can be over. Even though the games are close, you've lost 4 by a goal, and the next thing you know, you're cleaning up your clubs. Dallas has had an opportunity to get into this game. They fought back, and they let Vancouver, with a nifty play off of the faceoff, take the lead. We'll see if they can even it up here with 83 seconds left in regulation time.
Vancouver attempting to put a blemish on the perfect record that the Stars have in past playoff rounds in the opening game of any series. Babbage puts it high up off the glass, and it bounces all the way down the ice. The extra attacker out there as Bure is watching Courtnall. Broughton has Bure take up the chase on him, and Bure forces Broughton back to the net. Broughton finally is able to free it. It's dumped to the corner. Back after it. Lume takes a big hit, but he flips it high. It goes over the glass and out of play. 57.6 seconds remaining in the third period. Following the game, the Molson Canadian 3-star selection, Jeff Courtnall, who has 10 playoff points, is probably a candidate for one of those awards tonight.
Well, Craven had a strong first period particularly, and then has been very strong defensively. And then last 2 periods, Jelen has had a big game. Churla has been the guy that has given Dallas a chance. A big play on the 4-2 goal, and then driving to the net to tie the game up, although it still stands as McPhee's goal. We didn't see him touch it. A couple of big body checks as well. Other than that, I guess this is the reason Dallas is behind by 1. There aren't a half a dozen players that jump out in your mind that could be considered for Stars on Dallas.
2 number 16s in the face-off circle. They tie each other up, Evison and Linden, trying to dig the puck out, and Lume gets it. Lume knocks it out to center ice. Adams for Bure. He hit the post. Courtnall back of the net, being bothered again by Bure. Courtnall can skate, but so can Bure, and Bure managed to get a stick on him. Dumped to the corner. Modano is tied up by Adams. The puck bounces in front of the net. Comes free, and the shot is deflected before it gets to the goal. Murray knocks it out to center ice. 23 seconds remaining. Courtnall leaves it against the boards. Babbage gets it. He's checked. Now it comes free. Linden scores! And that will do it. The captain, Trevor Linden, puts the icing on an opening game victory for the Vancouver Canucks with 14.3 seconds remaining.
Find a way to win. And Vancouver has done that after letting Dallas get back in the game on 3 separate occasions. They fought the puck out, and Linden makes no mistake as he puts this one right in the middle of the net. And Gagne goes back and he shoots this puck right over the glass and up into the stands. Hopefully nobody got that one in the head.
Happiness is a first game win for the Vancouver Canucks. Trevor Linden's 5th goal of the postseason. You know, your comments, Jim, were so appropriate at the start of the Calgary series. You said the lifeline, Courtnall, Ronning, and Linden would have to get going. Well, Courtnall and Linden have been the scoring stars for the Vancouver Canucks. Ronning has a couple of goals. Pavel Bure also has 10 points. But it was the lifeline that injected life into the Vancouver Canucks when they needed it. And they squared the series on overtime game winners by first Courtnall and then Linden, and Pavel Bure put it away in game 7 to take the initial series against Calgary. And now Courtnall and Linden have scored. So has Pavel Bure tonight in the opening game against the Dallas Stars. 6-4 the final in favor of the Canucks.
Well, I don't think we've seen the best from either of these teams yet. Dallas had a few flashes of consistent intense play, but really over 60 minutes they didn't put the sort of effort forward that I thought they would have after 8 days off. Vancouver, though, once again a pretty disciplined effort over 60 minutes, although they let Dallas in a few times. When they had to find a step or drive to the net, they did, and that's how you win in the playoffs. When Vancouver needed an edge, they shot the puck, and although at times it wasn't real pretty, well, you come all the way down to Texas and get a win knowing you got 3 in your building and 1 more here in 2 days. It's a pretty good feeling.
Well, the Vancouver Canucks held a 4-1 second period lead. They saw the Dallas Stars come back with 2 goals, and then McPhee tied it at 3:57. But at 15:21 from a faceoff, Martin Jelena scored what proved to be the game winner, and then Trevor Linden iced it into an empty net, with Dave Babbage drawing the assist as the Vancouver Canucks defeat the Stars in game 1 of the semifinal series, 6-4.
Number 1, Murray Craven. Number 2, and Shane Churler from the Stars is number 3. The final score in game 1 in Dallas. The Vancouver Canucks open the series with a big 6-4 victory. Tomorrow night, game 2 in the Eastern semifinal. We've got the New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals. That's a 4:30 start Pacific time. And now from all of us at Hockey Night in Canada in Dallas, good night from Texas.
Nathan Lafayette, big face-off, and that was a nice goal.
Now you jump out to the 4-1 lead. All of a sudden, Dallas climbs back into it. It seemed like the Canucks collapsed midway through the second period. What was happening?
Well, I think they really came at us hard, and I think they took the body, got some good chances from forechecking hard. I think they just threw it out to the net, and we had some troubles clearing the front of the net. And Kirk played great to hold us in there. I think that was a big key to our win.
How tired were you out there tonight?
Real tired. I think I felt great in the first period. I'm sure the other guys felt the same, but after 3 overtime games in a row, a lot of guys were pretty tired.
Jeff, tell me how important it was to win this game, game 1 here in Dallas, knowing that 3 of the next 4 are in your building.
Well, it's a big game for us. I think to keep our momentum going and not stop with another victory, that's pretty big for us. I think going back home, after the next game with 3 games at home, it gives us a big advantage if we are up by 1 game or even tied.
Thank you very much for being with us, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
You're done. Your history. Seeing you in game 2. I'm slap happy. I'm so tired. I've been up since 5. Hold on. He seems to be getting somebody else. Me? Me? No. What would I be? What would I be pissing and moaning about? No, I just told him I was getting slap happy because I was up so long. So I'm like giddy right now. If I have what? Is there an... I will do that. I will do that for you, okay? Hi, Pavel. I'm Brenda Brennan. How are you? Nice to meet you. We have Pavel Bure here. Good game.
Yeah, thanks.
Exciting one to watch. You all set? Tell me how important it was to win Game 1 here at Reunion Arena.
Well, you know, it was really important, you know, especially when they play on the rink Dallas. You know, they play real tough at home all the time. So, and I think it was really important for us.
Canucks jump out to the 4-1 lead. You looked pretty fresh out there, but was that more just an adrenaline thing?
Oh yeah, you know, well, it's we just had a couple days ago a big game for us, and I think we're still excited. So it was nice to win today again.
What happened in the second period there? It seemed like all of a sudden collapsed and let Dallas jump right back into it.
You know, I think, you know, we thought we won already. You know, we got late for 1, and I thought we thought the game is over, but it wasn't over. So, and those guys, you know, catch up us, and we had to, you know, work hard to get a 5th goal.
Was anything said during the intermission to pump you guys up again?
You know, not really, because, you know, we had this situation before, you know, so we just said to each other, let's work hard and do best what we can.
Didn't want to see this one go into another overtime, I bet.
No, not really. You know, I think we had enough already.
Good. Thank you very much for being with us, Pavel.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye-bye. We'll try. I'm just hanging, babe. I'm sitting, actually. There isn't a noose around here that I can hang by. Ha ha.
Yeah, we only had 6 flights. Why don't you just take that
You're exhausted.
I could really sleep well. Sure. So that I'll be taking a day off. Okay. Just concentrate on getting that black back run folded up. Okay? Thank you.
I'm getting up to walk in case he needs me. I don't have my earpiece in.
We'll do some interviews or sending down the line.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
Belly's getting bigger today.
Bruce, we're all set. You had to be concerned about your team after the second period there. It seemed to be they were letting Dallas back into it. What kind of adjustments did you make?
Well, basically, I think it was more the fact that they scored the goal than adjustments we made. We tried to talk about having the 1-goal lead in the third period and our positioning because it cost us 2 goals. And unfortunately, we didn't position very well. We gave them the tying goal, but then it sharpened our team up. Then from then on, we were a better team, and for a long time, they were a better team.
You jump out to the 4-1 lead. Was that pure emotion that you were running on right there, or were you really fresh?
I think more opportunistic than anything else. Part of their game plan, obviously, was to come and see if they could put a spike in our heart right away. They really were aggressive, more than I ever remember seeing them, and I think in their aggressiveness, they trapped themselves a couple of times, and we were opportunistic. We got the outnumbered man attacks and were able to score on them, and took some wind out of their sails for a little while, but not for long because they came on really strong.
How important is it to win Game 1 at Reunion Arena?
Well, for us, I mean, tremendously important to not be able to come in as a tired team and win anything, then it makes it pretty hard going back home. So it was a big win for us. There's no question about that.
You expect the same kind of game for Game 2?
Well, I don't know. Bob's a crafty guy. He may change his plan a little bit. His team has been very successful sitting back and being a counterattack team, and he may go to that tactic. It's hard to say. I know this, they'll be prepared and they'll play hard.
Great. Thank you very much for being with us, Coach.
Thank you.
And Ron Smith. And now the starting lineup for your Dallas.
I can't hear you, Bruce.
I don't hear myself either. No, I do not. That's the problem. I don't hear myself. I hear nothing now. Well, I'll take your word for it. It's just hard. It's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This stick, and Matvichuk sort of just tried to protect himself, and Rob Schick, the referee, is going to haul off Matvichuk. Bob Gainey, I think he had a lot of precautions heading into this contest, knowing full well that it was his team that had the games off and date.
With it is Martin Jelinar. Loose puck in front. Whiffing at it was Jeff Brown, and the goal comes off. The gloves come off, and some fireworks in the corner. One of the competitors is Sergio Momesso.
Dave Barr, the other one. Dave Barr just inserted into the lineup, hasn't played so far this year in the playoffs. Momesso, of course.
No. Oh! They're jumping now. Vancouver right out the face-off. Ulome with it in his own zone. Over to Jeff Portnoy to Murray Craven. He's in. He scores! Murray Craven! And the Vancouver Canucks have jumped out on top and
120 pounds. Brother Kevin, of course, regular season plus 19, but he's really come a long way, and you'll find that he's going to block a whole lot of shots through the course of this game.
Run of the puck tonight, Darren.
You know, Archer Zerbe in Game 7 against the Detroit Red Wings, he did the same thing, allowing the Red Wings back in that game with their first goal of the game by misplaying the puck a little bit. One more time again. This is McPhee. Just a nice, good hit, but the door was open from the Dallas Star bench. No fault of anybody, really, on the player change, and that's what happens when you change. Called very well. Interference on the goaltender, but that's going to be, there'll be 2 minors, so we'll see some 4-on-4 hockey. Dave Barr also off, but the start that Pat Quinn, I think he was hoping for. I'm not sure he anticipated an early start, an early 1-0 lead, but he's got that right now. Pat Quinn doing an excellent job of guiding the Vancouver Canucks.
Here comes Dallas. Speaking of effort, they break out of the zone. This is Dave Barr with a shot. The claim save. They hit the puck. They score!
But he never really commits. He gets himself in good position, doesn't overextend himself. But another giveaway in the defensive zone. So far in this game, we've seen a couple. Madonna makes a nice play at the blue line and feeding his line mate Trent Platt, and the shot trying to go to the stick side. But again, the position of where Kirk McLean is, he really had no problem with that. Kirk McLean is a very smooth goaltender, and
right on the goaltender. 1:06 to go on the 2-man advantage. A wind-up and a drive by Ledyard, and it's wide. Dallas desperately trying to keep the puck in the zone. They do. Here's Madonna. The pass to Shea. Kirk McLean. Highway right.
the shot was flat. Situations that are subject to review by the video goal judge. But here's the situation. You have a situation coming through the neutral zone. Courtnall looking for a pass the whole way. Decides to go back to Murray Craven looking for his second goal of the game.
Where is
you can't tell from there at all where the heck that puck is. But from an overhead camera, maybe we'll get it better. Those still hurt, Tom.
You feel them up here, don't you?
There's just a spot in that crease of your shoulder and arm. And,
He was born a veteran. Modano behind his own net. Oh, he gets it away. They score! Jed Courtnall says, "Thank you very much, Mike Modano." Ran by Neil Broughton. And pass it around.
Nice choice by Bob Gainey. He sure spreads around the leadership, doesn't he?
Sure does.
Makes everybody feel like they're a huge part.
Here's Bob Broughton.